Here we go. Hello, Gabriel.
Hey, hello.
I don't have a webcam, so you're gonna just be staring at my profile picture.
Okay.
But so first, I just want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
So I do want to start looking at. I looked at your Instagram, and the first post regarding Space Lemmings was coincidentally on my birthday. So, but
No
it's
way.
so it's been in development since 2019, around that.
Yeah, something like that. Like the project of Lava Lamp I think started like around like something like April 2020. Before that, I think I did like some mild stuff, but like my project Lava Lamp at the beginning was just supposed to be like a very small project. Like it was supposed to be only the first level,
Mm-hmm.
and then the pandemic hit,
Oh yeah.
and then like it just like evolved. It went like longer and longer, and like it was supposed to be at the like a 15-10 minute game, and then like it went like to a 1 hour game or
Oh yeah.
45 minutes or
Mm-hmm.
something.
That's one thing I enjoyed though, because when I play games like this, they'll only be like 15 minutes. So when I played Lava Lamp, I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be a short little experience, but it kept going on and in a good way. And by the end of it, I was like, I really enjoyed that.
Ah, thanks. I think because I'm mainly a musician.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, I've studied in music and I've been a composer. That's what my main job is, I guess. And so, like to me, like making a video game that is a bit like the same pacing as an album.
Oh.
I like that idea of like having like the flow of like an album, a music album or something, and
Mm-hmm.
like
I can definitely see that comparison, and I saw on your early Instagram of like pictures of you with a band. So are you part of a band, or do you just work with many different people?
I work with many different people. Like I mainly compose music like for like dance, contemporary dance shows, like short movies that like we can see like in museums and stuff like that, like the art scene.
Okay.
So most of the time, I also did like some arrangement, like say like string quartet, like a band needs a string quartet
Mm-hmm.
on a song, and I write the string quartet and stuff like that. So uh, but like when I make music like for I don't know short movies or like dance shows, most of the time it's electronic music. So it's kind of music that sounds a bit like what I do in Lava Lamp,
Mm-hmm.
because like there's rarely ever some budget to like pay for musicians.
Yeah.
So I end up like making the whole track by myself.
Okay, well, I
Yeah.
did enjoy the soundtrack. That's one thing I really focused on in my video. It it was really something that helped with the experience because I mentioned something like most games like this, they've got crazy visuals with colors everywhere. So usually their songs are all over the place. But the music in this game was really just calm and it added a balance. That's one thing I mentioned, word for word. But it really helped the experience with this, and it definitely set your game apart from most other games, which is good.
Wow. Thanks. Well, that's funny because like to me, I guess like my the way I created that game is a bit different too. Because like since I'm a musician, like I really think about the music and like the space and the vibe that you can set. You have a lot of control over like the reception of something if you are a musician. Like at the end, like if you have like a movie or something, like there's a scene and like it's a stressful scene,
Mm-hmm.
you can make it like a lot smoother with music and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's funny because I mainly did the music after doing the visuals, but still I had that in mind.
Yeah. Okay, because yeah, I know music definitely will make something. It affects more than what people think, and so I think it's always important to focus on the music if there is music,
Mm,
because when you're watching a horror movie and you've got like
mm,
I don't know, like a Coco Melon soundtrack or something, just some kids show soundtrack, it's not going to be that scary. But when you've got like
yeah.
a rising tension, suspense music, it definitely changes it.
Yeah, and
So,
I love horror movies
mhm,
for that. The music in that is always very great.
mhm,
Like John Carpenter or whatever.
mhm,
Like I feel
it's
a bit like a John Carpenter in a way, because like he made like the music and also like the movies, the
mhm.
filmmaker. So
But another question I have is, so there's quite a bit of names in the credits as there would be in a game. These people, are they like in your band? Are they like, how did you get this team together?
well, mostly it's mostly me that did like a big chunk of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's the two actors. Those are two like professional musicians, singers actually.
Okay.
They do a lot of contemporary classical music. So that's the world where I come from. Is like the contemporary classical genre, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I I asked them like, would you like to make voiceovers for my game? And and they said yes. It was during COVID again, but they had like very good microphones since they are musicians.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I asked them. And also the other team member that is very important is Thomas Duret. Thomas Duret is like who co-wrote the scenario with me, but I would say he was more maybe like what we call in French like a dramaturge. So he's like a person that would oversee like all the narrative aspect
Mm-hmm.
of the game. But
Okay.
I mainly wrote myself the scenario, but like he took a lot of looks in it, like, and he really helped me like define maybe like what is like I've wrote so many pages of the story, and
Mm-hmm.
like it ended up like very short. Like I just kept like the best parts of it,
I see. Yeah.
and he really helped me with that. Yeah, but I always wanted like to make it feel still like it's like one, it's like you go into the head of one person while you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I'd say these people, and like there's also somebody who helped me. Catherine helped me a lot with like the social medias and stuff.
All right. It's like advertising.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the Instagram and like the we even had a TikTok for a while and
Mm,
stuff. It ended up well because like we had quite a few downloads. Like it went well.
that's good. Um,
Yeah.
I learned about this game because, like I said, I played this one game called Babdy. It was free to play on Steam. I just browsed the free to play looking for something, and that game really, it was like, it's a game I never saw before, so it left an impact. So I made a video on it. The video wasn't that good, but
Uh,
this one I actually kind of couldn't find anything on free to play because now it's so swamped with like games like Fortnite and stuff. These big
yeah.
games. So you know, I watched this YouTube video of I just searched up some basic top free tend to play or top free to play games, and after watching about 5 videos, one of them mentioned Lava Lamp, and I was like, this captivates me because all the other ones were like basic first person shooters, but then you've got this one game with
Uh,
colors, atmosphere. It's like this game looks good, so I played
cool.
it, and yeah, I forgot the video, but I can tell your game went far if there's more people talking about it. So
Yeah, I'd love to see that video. I haven't heard about it.
yeah, and I'm hoping my video, because this is the hardest I've worked on a video, and I've got a bunch
Oh,
of like friends and stuff that offer to
yeah.
like get the video out for me. So I'm really hoping I can shed some light because this game is, and games like this are often overlooked, but this one especially. And since you're a composer, I feel like you should get credit for making the game and the music because not many people
Thank
do
you.
that now.
But I'm already so happy about like you just making a video. Like it's just really like even like whatever the reach is, and I'm sure it's gonna be great anyways. But just talking to you and just talking to somebody who like the game, it really like fills my heart. Thank you.
You're welcome. But I can't relate, obviously, because, like, I'm sure when people make videos, this is like a hobby for me. I'm nothing big. But I've always been interested in making games. But as of now, I can't imagine, like, having someone, like, ask to interview me, you know? So it's definitely, I'm sure it definitely feels good. I'd love to have that feeling. I've got a friend who makes music for a game, and he's constantly got kids saying, "Dang, your music's good," and like when he replies to him, because he's a kid my age. I'm like late high school, so obviously it's not like we're adults. You know, we're kids too, and we're getting people, or he's getting kids asking him like questions. And you know, the difference is when you're a kid and you're popular, you tend to talk back. Like, not
Mhm.
rude, but like respond. But when adults are popular, you know, you've got celebrities that don't talk back to their fans unless it's like a public book signing thing. So when he's got
Mm.
kids messaging him, he'll reply. And they just get so happy and stuff. Like, wow, you're actually talking back to me? And stuff like that. So it's definitely with the difference there with, you know, you've got popular people that don't respond and people that are closer. So that's one thing I honestly didn't expect is when I message you saying, "Hey, I'd like to interview you." It's like I don't know if this guy's gonna respond back, but it
For
definitely
sure.
made me happy to see that reply.
Thank you. Well, it definitely made me happy to just have somebody like, "Hey, I like your game, man. Thanks."
I've got, let's see, kind of got a list of questions. I One thing that is always curious or always interesting to me is finding out when you've got games with all these like colors, all these random stuff. Like the first room, there's a keyhole, there's a couch with a note, there's a picture with a woman saying that says Kiko's cool, and then there's a Pop Tart as a rug. One thing that always interests me is like how do people come up with these? Like this is something you'd see from a dream. So I
Yeah.
just one question I have, which I'm pretty sure many people that play these games always want to ask the creators, is how did you come up with this idea? Like, was there motivation, and you know, just how were you able to put this onto a game?
It's a weird headspace. Like I just try to go in it, and like a lot of people like on the comments just refer like maybe I think like 30%, like at least 30 comments about like reviews on Steam
Mm-hmm.
talks about LSD.
Mm,
And I actually didn't do any LSD in my life.
that's good.
you, and I'm not judging or anything, but like it's just funny to me sometimes that people like feels that creativity is just like deeply linked with drugs.
Yeah.
And it can be sometimes. I mean, like a lot of work of art has been that way, but like not that specific one.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'd say like it's just the way I try to create, even when I make music or whatever, is just like to just on the top of your head, like what would you do if you had like all the time in your world, like.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like stuff that freaks me out, like oh my god, that's so like unexpected and stuff. It
Mm.
creates sense to me because like you have to connect the dots,
Yeah.
and like what are the dots of like that pop tart rug and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. I'd always love to have a pop tart rug in my house. I would love to have that. So but like more in the real world, like that first stage was like at the beginning supposed to be the game.
Mm-hmm.
And like I wanted to do a game because like it was COVID, and like there are all these music festival, this new art music festival that were like being like, oh, we don't know what we do this year because like there's no shows.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let's make a music game. And Keiko is actually a great composer from Montreal, and like
Okay.
she's a great composer. And like I just started, like I saw her picture on like Facebook, and I just like messed around with it, playing with textures and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like at the end, I just let it in the game,
Okay,
just
that's
like
interesting.
cause let's see. The letter is actually a direct reference to Super Mario 64.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like the first letter that Peach sends to Mario at
Oh
the very
yeah.
beginning of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally a reference to that because, like in the game, you enter in Super Mario 64, you enter like these pictures,
Yeah, I've got the
these
remake on
painting.
my Nintendo Switch, but I know it's definitely nothing like the original. Not most
You
like it.
you have which one?
The remake on the Switch, they remade it for like modern consoles. It's still got the
Yeah.
same graphics, but like
Oh,
certain
but
things.
like it's pretty much the same. You mean like the 3D All Star collection?
Yeah, I've got that one.
Yeah, it seems it looks pretty much the same. The texture are a little higher, but
Hmm.
like I'd say it pretty much looks like the same. A little less choppy. Like you
Yeah,
see
I
the
know because
lot.
they
You
did a
see
bunch of
lot.
fixes, obviously, because there's no other controller like the N64 controller for sure.
Yeah, but like it wasn't like a game that like if you play it today, like the camera is like really hard on your nerve.
Oh, I can agree on. Anyone can agree on that one.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. And like the N64 controller used to wear a lot. Like, and in
Oh
the
yeah.
end, like it would like just like be a little like louse.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's the best controller.
Yeah, there's
Uh,
definitely some controversy around it. But
yeah,
I've
yeah,
got a huge interest in those old games like Mario 64 and all that. And that's what really piqued my interest in this genre because I'd always be interested in those type of games because they're like retro. You know, I didn't grow up in that time, but I'm really
yeah,
fascinated with them. And you know, if you look at those games today, they make no sense. Mario's jumping through paintings, going through pipes. The world around is so
yeah,
different, which is why I like these newer games. Because with your game, it's almost kind of like an adaptation. Not really, but it's got its own universe.
yeah.
Looking at
Uh,
it is
to
just
me,
different.
something that I realized like while doing that game because I was trying to make like the most psychedelic possible game
Mm-hmm.
that was still like heartfelt and stuff, but like
Yeah.
I wanted that freak out aspect of it. And like in the end, it's always less psychedelic than Mario.
Mm-hmm.
Mario is like top weird in the
Yeah,
end.
like no one
But
notices it because it's
yeah,
such
but
a big
like
game.
just the idea, I can't like even like Mario was already around when I like started playing video games when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I think like the Super Mario Brothers, the first one is like 88. That's the year I was born.
Hmm.
so but like still like that guy, he enters pipes. There's all these crazy
Mm-hmm.
characters. If you look even like all the other stuff that was around on that time, it's still like super weird, but
I
like we
mean, you
just
got
accept it.
Pac-Man, and you know, you've got these games that don't make sense in hindsight. But I guess it's
Yeah,
because they've been around so long, people just kind of get it. So when you
yeah,
look at these new psychedelic games that are coming out, you know, people first see them like this is weird and stuff. But then if you go up to them and explain, hey, you know, Mario is this plumber from New York that goes through pipes and steps on mushrooms. They're like,
yeah.
I didn't think about it like that. It's
Yeah, and
definitely.
even the last one, like the well, the other before, but Mario Odyssey, like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
like it's more realistic because he's like in the actual like there's people around, but there's like a T Rex there at one point I think.
My
So,
favorite part, like, and he has a little mustache.
oh yeah.
Amazing. Like when I played the T-Rex, I was very excited. Like, yeah, but like the emphasis is not like the story; it's still gameplay focused.
Mhm.
And I've played a bunch of like walking simulator games,
Mhm.
especially one that like interested me. Like was this game Virginia. I feel that there used to be more mainstream walking simulators a while back. I feel that that genre has had like a little decline maybe
Yeah, I'm hoping it
lately.
makes a comeback because I really do love these.
Me too. I'm such a big fan, and there was like huge productions like Firewatch or like
Mhm.
What Remains of Edith Finch or stuff
Yeah,
like that. And there's this game with Virginia. I don't know if you've played.
I haven't.
It's you had it or you haven't.
I haven't. No.
Yeah, so it's also a walking simulator, and it's very very narrative and very very from point A to point B. Like
Mhm.
it's very like storytelling, but with no words and stuff. And there's a part in it where the character takes a LSD tab
Mhm.
and like goes into that psychedelic moment. But I always felt that like that part wasn't psychedelic enough,
Mhm.
and like wasn't like there's something about the walking simulator genre. Maybe like it started with that game that is called Dear Esther. That's the beginning of the style. It started like as a mod
Mhm.
for Half Life, and it's like one of the first like well-known narrative game with no kind of gameplay, if you want.
Yeah.
It's always so serious. I feel that there was a lot of game in that genre that like wanted to be like that wanted to prove that it's art,
Mhm.
because video game, like making a point that video game is art,
Yeah.
but like chose to go in that very serious path, like even game like Gris or Gris, I don't know, but like that 2D platformer. I don't know if you've played that one.
I'm not sure.
It's like a 2D platformer with a girl that is like anyway, like there's a lot of like narrative games that are very like talking about depression and stuff,
Yeah.
which is all good. It's all good, but like I felt that like sometimes I just need like a very psychedelic story, just very fun,
Mhm.
but not dumb necessarily, but like
Yeah.
just like freak out.
Because I love games that tell a good story. Everyone does. And most of these games with Walking Simulator, they're more focused on a story than really gameplay. You've not got like parkour elements, no like guns and
Yeah.
weapons. It's just you walk and you're put in this world just to find out what it's all about, which really interests me. It's definitely something like I'm not the most really fascinated with book reading. I'm not the biggest book reader.
Mm.
I don't know. That's just me. But with video games, it's like able to read a story but play through it, which is more interactive too. Because playing a horror game is definitely more scary than watching a horror movie because you're put in that
Yeah.
situation. So I feel like doing these things with games just leaves a better impact overall.
Well, I feel that we're just like discovering like what game can do
Hmm.
outside of gameplay, which is like really well done these days. Like I'm not anti gameplay games,
Yeah.
but like I sometimes enjoy like just like sometimes I want to watch a movie, but sometimes I want to play a game. But like there's all this in between
Hmm.
that is so possible. Like people like binge watch like for 10 hours
Yeah.
series and stuff. And I have a lot of friends that don't play video games, but they do binge watch like stuff, like I
Hmm.
don't know, whatever it is, like Stranger Things or whatever.
Yeah.
And like these people would love playing video games that
Yeah.
are like narrative. I really feel like there could be like a lot of like good stuff that people would like
Hmm.
outside of like the gameplay mechanics. Like people that are not very good at playing games, they could
Yeah,
still enjoy those games.
it's definitely important because I know there's so many different genres of games. Like there's different genres of everything. So
Mhm.
if you're not a big movie person, there's bound to be a movie out there that you would like per se. You know, if you're not a big book person, I'm sure there's a book out there I would like. And so it's very important to know like there's got to be a game for at least someone, you know. So I really like the making of these games because you know there's games I'm not good at, but it's hard. It's almost impossible to be bad at a at a walking simulator. So it
Exactly.
definitely I like these games not just because of story, but because they their ability to let people that don't play games enjoy them.
Yeah, and even that, like, because I realized that a first-person game is still hard for a lot of people, though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought it would be a lot easier, but like for people who haven't played any games, like
Yeah.
it's still a hard mechanic to get, to get, you know.
Yeah.
And like I realized that though, because like I the game Lava Lamp was presented in a museum at some point.
I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, that was great because like I saw that way like how people like it was a great like beta test in a way,
Mm-hmm.
like because like you can see like the public like because I really see that game like a game for non-gamers too a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And like and I still feel though that like a first person view is still hard for a lot of people that
Yeah.
haven't played any games in their life.
Mm-hmm.
I've played Doom when it was out, so like it's a different like
Yeah.
vibe, but like it's really not everybody who played Doom back in the days or like played a first person game.
Mm-hmm. I've grown up
Uh,
with different types. I had a Wii when I was a kid, so I grew up with Mario Bros. That new one. So I've grown up with the side scroller, 2D platformer, but I've
mhm.
also early on I've played Doom. I've played all six of them, and so
Yeah.
I'm really um, what's the word? Really familiar with the first person. But
Yeah.
when I started playing,
Most gamers are.
I mean, if you
Yeah.
play video game, you know first person. If you play video games on a regular basis, but I started
Yeah.
playing third person like a few years ago. I bought the new Tomb Raider Definitive Edition pack,
Uh
and it's third person, and that really just was difficult for me because I'm used to first person, you know,
oh
where the
yeah.
crosshair is, but now you've got third person, and so I can kind of tell like how people who aren't familiar with games would be when they're playing games the first time, because like it was with
Yeah.
GTA too. I played GTA, and I played when I was too young to play GTA, but I still did.
We were all yeah.
hmm But you know, third person aspect, it just turned what I knew about the controls on its head because it was like being put in some alien thing because I'd be running and it'd just be different, the movement and everything, jumping. So
Yeah.
definitely, I can definitely get how some people struggle with first person, but it's
Yeah, especially non-gamers
mm-hmm,
like yeah, so I had very high expectations that like people that never played video games could easily pick it up and
mm-hmm.
stuff, but like it's harder than that, I feel.
Yeah, because for people that grew up with video games, it's hard to imagine someone who just doesn't get the concept. Because I've seen this video, this guy's I think it was his wife or some. It wasn't a gamer. She grew up like reading books and playing outside, which you
Yeah.
know, lucky for her. But so he
Mhm.
introduced her to like I forgot the game, but he was videoing it like for a TikTok. He gave her the control and said, "Here, play this game." I think it's like Minecraft or some. She's like, "How do you move?" Which boggled me because you know usually it was on controller, so the joystick, of course. But she was genuinely asking, "How do you move in this game?" And that just that's where the I guess the disconnect is with people that play video games versus who they don't, because we see this
Yeah.
as so simple, but it's just interesting to me because I'm pretty sure when you're making the game, the number one problem is how people like will receive it and play it, which that's why games have tutorials, obviously. But I feel like that's definitely a factor, is um, having to take into account how people, what their relationship with video games is.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, so I don't know if I succeed or not, like, but like at least I made it the simpler I could.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good reason also why like walking simulator or first person. It's also because like it's easier, like you don't have to make your character and like character
Yeah,
animation
nothing like
that
Fallout
much.
with all the different perks and everything.
Yeah, yeah. And like also like a lot of walking simulators don't have other characters and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. So those are all like good reasons for making it first person, and also being like more maybe like you don't feel the game the same way, especially in a very narrative
Yeah.
driven game. Like you can put yourself in the eye of the
Mm-hmm. I
character
feel like
if
first
you're.
person will make it more immersive.
Yeah, and that was like back then. Like I don't know if you've heard the game Myst.
Mist, I think I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's all good because it was out I think in 1994. So
Okay.
that's all good if you
Yeah.
don't know it. But that was like kind of the first CD-ROM game. Like it sold like crazy. Like for a long while it was like the game that was the most sold,
Hmm.
the CD-ROM game most sold,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like later it was The Sims who like
Oh yeah, I've heard of.
got that title.
Mm-hmm.
But just before it was Myst, and it was a lot. They sold a lot, and it was just like images first person. It was a
Mm-hmm.
first person view, but like it was images by images, and you would
Okay.
only click on stuff
Hmm.
around. It was like a game that you had like to enigmas, like
Mm.
you had to
Yeah.
puzzles,
Okay,
and
that's
and
interesting.
like the vibe there is like super weird. You're alone on like an island,
Hmm.
and then you enter into books and stuff. The
Okay.
puzzles are a bit too hard, but and there's a lot of reading
Mm-hmm.
in that game if you want to deep go deep.
Mm-hmm.
But like the vibe of being alone on an island, and there was some great music, great sound effect. It was the first time that you had like that good music, because like it was a CD-ROM,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and it really put an impact on me. And like I feel that a lot of walking simulators, especially the weirder one or weird games, are really still like a lot influenced by that game Myst.
Mm-hmm.
What was fun about Myst too, it was made by two brothers, so it still had that feel of an indie game.
Yeah.
It sold a lot, but in those days there weren't that many indie games because it was complicated
Mm-hmm.
to make a game
I
back then.
Yeah, I definitely look up to indie games and indie developers because they don't have this budget, but they're still able, like most indie games now, and there's like indie music. It's just it's it's impressive, like because they don't have this big budget, but they can still make something like beautiful out of what they got.
I feel coming from music, like it's funny because like when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
it was the first moments where as somebody with a PC or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you could start making music.
Yeah.
It was the great revolution of like the home studio in
Mm-hmm.
music. It begun in my time, but like there was no way you could make a game. There was no Unity, no Unreal, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean there was Unreal, but like you had to license it, and like nobody could do that.
Yeah.
And I just feel that it's been what, like not even 10 years that people have access to those incredible tools for
Mm-hmm.
free.
So it's definitely because indie
And
games
like
back then would be like way more, because you said Miss was made by two brothers in 1994.
Yeah,
So that's definitely gives them more credit, given that that time where you didn't have the home studio, or at least like it wasn't free. Like I can download a
yeah,
Copper 4 engine or something like that and make a little game. It's not going to be really good, but it's free and I can make something like that. But I'm sure back
yeah.
then, that wasn't even thought of.
Well, in the time of Mist, actually, they used like something on the Mac computers that was called hypercards. Like it's something that doesn't even exist today. I've never saw that, but one reason why it was possible is because they had like this thing called hypercard that was basically kind of like a PowerPoint, but
Hmm.
like more like a lot more complicated than that.
Okay.
But that you could put images and click and go somewhere, and
Yeah.
probably you could make a game in PowerPoint still.
I think I
But
saw
like
a video of a guy making a game on Google Slides, which is just
cool.
was interesting to me.
So that was kind of one of the reasons why they could do that
Yeah.
back in those days. Yeah, because like they found a way, they found a game that would work with that specific thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now I feel that we're not as much like the tools are a lot more large, are a
Yeah.
lot larger. I mean, you have meta human with Unreal, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like and stuff like that, and I feel that the game are will not be as much like the game won't come as much from the engine now.
Yeah.
Like now the engine can you can make any kind of game with those engines now.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel that there will be even more and more and more indie games, but like I feel I'm not even an indie game, I'm like an underground game.
Mm.
So that's really how I feel about like that my game. Like it's not even an indie studio, it's like more like that guy that makes an album in his bedroom.
Mm.
That's the equivalent
Yeah.
for a video game, and I really hope like that people feel that way. That's it. Like just feel like, oh, a person made something, so I can live through his head or something,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like a team effort, which is
Yeah.
also great. Which is also great. I just like I I I I don't see that a lot. Maybe like Stardew Valley, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
like
Because I definitely saw your name a lot in the credits, and when I looked up the to get on the website and I found your YouTube, I saw it was Space Lemmings, but it only had your name. It's like, okay, so this guy obviously did a lot of the work. He's probably the head honcho behind it all. So I obviously got that feel that was more underground than indie, because I was like, okay, this guy made this game all by himself. I assumed the music was made by you, so I hit that on the
yeah.
mark. But it definitely changed the game when you know it's made by one guy than a team. And it was really good too, because when you've got games made by one guy, I don't know if you heard of Faith, the Unholy Trinity, which is really impressive. Only one guy's made it, and
Okay.
it's really impressive. And that's what I felt with your game too. Like, okay, one guy made this, and like, there's no glitches, barely any glitches. I don't think I found any. No bugs, nothing messed up. It's just
Yay.
very impressive, and it strengthens the experience when your game's not glitching all the time, because you've got people like Ubisoft and Activision where the games have glitches, but you've got one guy making this game, and
Yeah.
there's barely any problems, if any. I don't think I've run into
But
a
yeah,
major problem.
but like there's a couple of gameplay mechanics in the game, but like for sure it helps like the walking simulator
Yeah.
genre really helps like okay, there's doors,
Mm-hmm.
there's stuff like that, but of
Yeah.
course like it's not like even comparable to like a like there's no inventory
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It took me a lot of time to do the pause menu though. I put a lot of
Mm.
work on that and stuff like that. But like there's no for sure. Like I chose my battles,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it also comes from what I enjoy about game. I love the visual and the music and the interactivity of that
Mm-hmm.
medium. So I put my energy there, but like as a player, I'm not like always Well, at least at the very least, there's so many good gameplay games
Mm-hmm.
that I don't feel the need to make one,
Yeah.
because like there's so many good ones. But like the walking simulator, like very like not a lot of gameplay stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see enough for me, so I that maybe drove the impulse of making one. But
Okay.
for sure, there's a lot of less problems that could happen when like your game is going from point A to point B.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the simplicity of it definitely helps because, I know it's harder to make a game when you've got all these different controls. But, like, still, you know, gotta give credit. One guy made a game, and the game's really good. So,
Yay.
it's definitely something that I would probably pride myself on if I did that. So, you know, no, I don't want to take, like, all that away. Like, saying, oh, it doesn't have a lot of controls, so of course it want to like have problems. No, it one guy made a game. He also made the music, so give the guy some credit. But it's definitely helps with the experience as well, seeing that it wasn't made by a team. So it definitely just like it increases like it helps the image of it too. It makes it a bit more enjoyable when you know that it was like it makes you feel a bit better. Like it definitely helped with me saying like, okay, well, this guy made, the game and the music. So like maybe I could do something like that. It definitely gets more inspirational to
Yeah,
say.
and there's so much, like I've literally learned how to make games on YouTube.
Mhm.
Like there's so many people that put great tutorials. There's not so great tutorials too, and like
Yeah.
you learn how to like find the good ones, but so many good ones.
Mhm.
And also just like Unity or Unreal, whatever, like there's so many good stuff that you can learn, and that's what, like, to me it's like a revolution.
Mhm.
It's like a new form of art.
Yeah.
It's not new, but like now that the tools are available,
Mhm.
I really hope to see more and more like stuff like that going out.
Mhm. When you mentioned Mist, and you says that point and click with images, coincidentally, I made a game very similar to it without even hearing about Mist on Scratch Edu. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's
Ah, maybe I've heard of it.
it's I don't know what it's called. It's that programming where it's just like blocks that you drag and it'll say like when something is clicked. And it's just, command
Okay,
blocks or something like that.
it's Node.
Node. Okay, it's
Uh,
that's what it
is it?
is, but it's for kids because it's like very simple and stuff. And I made a game with
But
that of kind of like Myst. There were some puzzles. It's point and click, and that's the first game I made. So it's more like a walking simulator because that reflects what kind of games I
great.
like. But I ran into so many problems making that. I'd have like a button to click on the store to get into this room. I click on it and it take me to like the menu screen or something. So definitely I can kind of relate with when something happens. Like it definitely ruins morale. Like why can't I
Uh,
get this right? Because I called my friend up because he's been making games on Scratch since he was in like elementary school, and I
that's
was like,
great.
hey, if this is happening, what did I do wrong? And the thing that always like surprised me is that when I told him my problem, he didn't make a game like this at all. This is totally unique from me and him. He usually makes like drag games and like platformers, and I'm making some point and click game. But I tell him my problem, he's like, "Oh, I know what you did wrong," and he tells me how to fix it. And it just, definitely with me making my first game, I don't have the experience. So of course, like you saying, you're more in music, so you learned how to make the game through YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
So it definitely like I can kind of relate with first time making a game, and I made this game not sure if people are gonna like it because it's some simple point and click game. So I can definitely I'm not trying to like take away yours because you did this whole game on Steam. I just did a little game on scratch.edu. But I'm still trying to like say that I kind of understand, like get the gist of it all.
Well, it's like that's what's amazing to me with those tools that are available.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you like games, And so you decide that, oh, I'm gonna make a small game, and it's exactly like you like music, and yet like you just start playing the guitar and playing a couple of
Mm-hmm.
chords and stuff, and like people, yeah, like younger people can do that now, and we didn't. We used to, we couldn't do that back in the days. We
Mm-hmm.
didn't have Unity and or Scratch or stuff
Yeah.
like that. And so like to me it really makes like art is not only like those big things that are out. Like music is not only like big artists and well-known artists. Music is also the person that just learns a few chords and
Mm-hmm.
play it, because then it gives you the ability to reflect.
Yeah.
You know, it's not only like I play a game, I like games, so I see some and I play them. It's also, oh, I'm gonna make it a bit, and for sure you understand a bit more,
Yeah.
and that what makes it an art.
Mm-hmm.
So like to me it's amazing that like you can do that nowadays.
That's one thing I love about these games is because everyone on this earth is different in their own way. So when you've got someone making a game, they'll have you get to see into their mind. And since everyone is different, if everyone made a game, they're all going to be different relatively. So it's
Yeah.
always like it, I feel like the walking simulator genre can never get saturated because when you see first person shooters, they're all becoming the same. They're like clones of one another. You've got all these battle royale
Hmm.
games and stuff. And this big genre is getting all saturated. But when someone's
Hmm.
making a walking simulator game, they have an idea, and when they make it into a game, it reflects that person. And since everyone is different, even if everyone on this earth made a walking simulator game, I feel like, if there's 8 billion walking simulator games, one for each person, I could play all of them and, it wouldn't be saturated. Of course, there's probably some I wouldn't like, some I would love, but this genre offers so much creativity, and I can't, like, explain just how much I enjoy it because, witnessing art, creativity, and all that stuff is definitely something that you don't see anymore with these big games. So it definitely brings
Yeah.
out that life.
Yeah, and what's funny also that I saw like after that big boom like a couple of years ago, like of those walking simulators like Firewatch and
Mm-hmm.
like big success, you could see like that even like in Red Dead Redemption 2, like a big part of that game is a walking simulator
Yeah.
too. So even like the big studios are like putting some parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, that idea of like just like a band or releasing music or stuff like that, like you have local bands and
Mm-hmm.
like they have fans and stuff. And to me like yeah, video game is totally an art form, and I would like to have more like local video games or something, I
Yeah.
don't know, like. And yeah, but to me like I really think that that way like they must be more gamers,
Mm-hmm.
like with more gamer, a lot of people don't play video games,
Mm-hmm.
and to me like there's a lot of people that would enjoy those a lot more
Yeah.
than we think, because we see like it was a very niche, very underground thing, and it
Yeah.
is, I mean, but like I really see the potential of like a lot of people could like playing those.
Mm-hmm. I'm just hoping that because with Power Cynical, uh he's really big on YouTube, and he does games. I don't know if you've heard of this game, Cruelty Squad. That's his most recent really review of. It's a weird psychedelic game. I think you'd
Oh
love it.
yeah.
But he talks about some of these games, and he's like a really big YouTuber, so he's helping get this word out. So of course I took some inspiration from him because I like his videos, and so I definitely some inspiration taken from him. But I'm hoping that I can grow in my own way because, like, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I really want these games to get the credit they want because with the gaming industry that's so saturated, and then you've got these unique little games which one thing that I don't know what the grammar thing for it is, but when you say like big shrimp, big and shrimps are small, or like the rapper Biggie Smalls. His name is that. Biggie and Small shouldn't exist in the same thing. So it's like
Yeah,
calling these games little, I feel like is like that because these games are big in their own way. And
yeah,
I want to reflect that and reach the people that don't play video games thinking, "Oh, I'm bad at video games, so I don't play them." And I want to reach those people. Hopefully they see my video and like, "Okay, maybe these games are for me." And
yeah, yeah.
hopefully
And yet,
that can
like, you
help
don't
spread.
die, you don't fail.
Yeah.
You can't fail.
So it's definitely something I want to spread out to the people. So that's one of my goals on YouTube because it's just a hobby, nothing too crazy. I'm not planning on making money off this, but I want to, praise this new genre and give people something because all it is in the end of the day is art. Like people go to museums, read books, but people look at video games and be like, why are you wasting your time playing this game?
Yeah.
Which, if you're playing like maybe Call of Duty and you're spending like $20 a week on the new battle pass or something, definitely that maybe is not the best way to play a video game. But I mean, playing these like free to play games or these really cheap games that tell a story, that's what gaming should be about, or at least most of it. And that's the
Well,
art behind it.
I feel that like video games right now are a bit like cinema, like in the 40s in
Yeah.
Hollywood, you know?
Mhm.
Like cuz in France there was like some fancy art stuff
Yeah.
a lot, but like France is like, I don't know, like in the 20s or the 1920s, 1910s.
Mhm.
But like at some point like there was Charlie Chaplin and stuff in
Yeah.
Hollywood. And like Hollywood, it was like cinema is art. Everybody knows it's art and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you have like a Stanley Kubrick, let's say, or Igmar Bergman, or
Mhm.
whatever. Like, and like oh, okay, that's art. But like cinema before that was like very industry driven, at least in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And like you wouldn't have like those like David Lynch or weird stuff. It had to be successful. It had to had money
Mhm.
to be. And like I still feel that like video games is a bit like that again. Like there's a lot of like studios need to be profitable, and
Yeah.
like it's very industry driven
Mhm.
still. Even like the walking simulator genre that was well known, like those big games like
Yeah.
Firewatch or whatever, it still had to be profitable and like have like this big, it's still like big-ish team. I think there were like 15, 20 people on that game or
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
And so like I feel that maybe now that like the industry is kind of collapsing, like
Mhm.
Epic Game just laid off bunch of people.
Yeah.
As a musician, I've seen that so many years. I'm old enough to like, I wasn't that old when Napster came around and
Mhm.
like destroyed the whole music industry, but I still saw the music industry before like internet like killed
Yeah.
it, like people selling 10 million album and stuff.
Yeah. I
But like,
definitely. Oh, sorry. Good.
yeah, but I feel that video game like may catch up like at that point, because like the everybody can have the tools to make some and everything, and
Mhm.
at some point there's gonna be enough a critical mass
Yeah.
of stuff that maybe like it's gonna change a bit. I don't know.
Yeah, one thing that just is terrible and sucks is when companies get all money hungry, and that's when it starts to ruin the experience. Like you've got Activision and Ubisoft, they're all putting out battle passes now, season passes. You can
Yeah.
buy new skins, which is all fine. I'm not against like buying a battle pass or anything. Like I want it, but like paying for like a gun skin or something, it makes your gun look cool, and if you want to do that, do it. But it doesn't help when like pay to win, you can buy this thing that just
Yeah.
increases your game. Nobody likes that. But it's when companies start like pushing forward you paying real world money for in-game stuff, that's when it starts to just get all sad. when you've got these huge ad campaigns and people are trying to get your
Mm.
money, like that's taking the video games, they're an art. They're supposed to tell a story or at least give you an experience. But when you're having to like pay for a minor change or something, it just takes away the experience and the storytelling, which is just sad to see in all these new games. So that's why I really do. That's another reason on top of many why I praise free to play or cheap games and stuff, because they tell a wonderful story, and like most of them are free to play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just very good to see that there's still a genre out there that's not been washed with pay to win. And honestly, I think it's impossible to make a walking simulator pay to win, unless of course you had to pay to walk. I guess.
I had the idea of like making like because like my next game isn't gonna be free probably like because
I
like
mean,
that was
yeah, I don't
th-
even
th-
see Lava Lamp. I see is free to play, and after I played it, I was like, I would have paid probably $10 to play this. So it obviously,
10 bucks thanks man.
yeah,
but like the thing is weird like because coming from the music and like being a musician and artist
yeah,
like as a musician you never tell yourself oh my god am I the art that I'm making is it like an can somebody be addicted to it
mhm,
because like there's game addiction
yeah,
and it's a real thing
mhm,
and like I don't see any art form that is even close to creating that much addiction maybe like series but like at the end like a series like a TV show like at the
mhm,
end the season stops and like it is what it is
yeah,
but like I can't see any other art form that is that addictivity
mhm,
is like part of it like you can create something addictive like all those crazy games that you see these ads of like those games those stupid
oh,
asset
yeah,
swapping games on your cell phone like those are designed to be addictive
yeah,
and it's something that is part of the art form and
mhm,
to me like all those paths and stuff like that and making game that last like 80 hours or 200 hours or
mhm,
200 hours gameplay it's kind of like when is it an art form and when is it like an addiction machine
yeah.
and
It's
it's hard to tell
mhm. Because I'll
sometimes.
see a game that's really fun and has a good story, and I'm like, this is a good game. I'm glad they made this. They obviously made this to tell a story. But then I look at other games they make, and you've got these games that are like the same, about the same length of gameplay. They also tell a good story. And when you've got all these, it's hard to tell, are they doing this for the money or to tell a story? Because they've got all these similar games, and some games will have like cosmetics you can buy and stuff. So it's
Mhm.
hard to tell what the motivation behind this, what these are, the motivations. So it
Yeah,
definitely starts to saturate the market a bit. But it's
yeah,
good seeing these games because there's not a cosmetic item shop on Lava Lamp, so you can
no.
obviously tell there's a story that's trying to be told, and it helps with focusing on that story instead of all this other stuff. It doesn't like overload the mind, so it
Mm.
definitely makes the game more enjoyable. And so
Yeah,
I
you're free to,
mhm.
but yeah, it's funny and it's also not very addictive. But that's a hard thing though, because like the Steam store is really oriented on like those games that like have a lot of replayability and
Mhm.
like have a lot of like good good playability is great. I love many gameplay games, but
Yeah.
like it's always intertwined with some sort of addiction.
Mhm.
Like you tend to love a game that is a bit addictive.
Yeah.
There's
Like I'm
there's
sure I
something
would have.
weird.
Yeah, I'm sure I would have never found your game on the Steam free to play because you've got all these games like Dota and Destiny and all these like, which Destiny's good. It's just like a bunch of these free to play games, but they've got item shops and stuff. Like there's the catch. They're
Mm,
free to play, but then there's like in-app purchases and stuff. So,
yeah.
and that's what's being pushed towards with these all these markets and stuff. So if I didn't find that YouTube video I would have probably never played Lava Lamp, and I would have probably never heard of it. And that's what I feel for most people. They browse free to play, wanting to look, trying to find like a good experience, but they're just overloaded with all these games that are free to play. But the catch
Yeah.
is, there's always something to buy. And that's what I
And
don't like. Like, I'd have to click see more maybe 10 times to start finding the actual walking simulators, you know?
yeah, and like there's something like there's not enough like the weird parts of like Steam.
Mm-hmm.
Like they focus a lot like on big games.
Yeah.
But like but still like without Steam I wouldn't have any public at
Yeah,
all.
like definitely. I
So
mean,
it
these
still
games are still
works.
on. Yeah, these games are still on Steam, which is good. It just, I feel like, I mean, of course, when I type in psychedelic for tags, I see all of the walking simulators, which,
Yeah.
but it's just, it's a matter of you need to know what to find, and I feel like there should be some efforts to push towards these little known games because it's still going back to what I said earlier. If you got either a team of very few people or just one person working hard to make these games, and there's barely like any efforts to really push forward these, which no criticism on Steam or any of that because they probably didn't know. They're these big tech giants who just have a platform for games. It's not me like dogging on them or anything, but it's just that's why instead of me sending an angry email to Steam saying, hey, push this game out more, instead I'm gonna make a video on it, and that's what many people will do it,
Yeah.
because that's my way of helping, because if I send an email to Steam, they're not gonna see it. They're gonna be like, if they do see it, they're gonna be like, what's this kid
Yeah.
talking about? But if I make
But
a
that
video, it's more effective, more people will see it, and it's just a better route.
but there's this idea like Steam like works a lot on like gamers and
Mm-hmm.
that's great because
Yeah.
there's a lot of gamers and they already like games. So like
Yeah, they're definitely
if
one of
you're
the
trying,
better people when it comes to the gaming industry.
yeah, but like finding the thing is finding new gamers.
Yeah.
I feel that those game could like bring a lot of new gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
It's just one thing that people haven't realized yet, and I'm hoping with the more people that make these videos and play these games, it'll be a realization. So I know it's just probably a matter of time. But moving on, I've got some questions more about
Okay.
the game itself.
I'm gonna take some coffee
All right.
in a second.
All right.
As you see, it's not very far, so.
Yeah. One thing I do want to mention, just as like a little, I guess, halftime show or something, I do these drawings at school. I don't know if you're familiar with the Adult Swim art style, which is just like
Yeah.
it's crazy, and I don't have a way of really showing you, but I've got a sketchbook, and I just draw these like strange things. Like people don't even like. Some of my friends think I'm going insane, losing my mind, which no, I'm not. Disclaimer, I'm not. I'm sure I'm not. It's just
Well,
with art and stuff, people like there. I've got a friend who can draw like the anatomy and stuff. He's really good at drawing like people and stuff. And when I draw people, the best person I can draw is a stick man. So
fair.
I'll draw these things that are just like weird, and people are like, how do you come up with these? Like, the only thing I can think of on the top of my head is really like, it's weird, but don't judge me. It's just something I drew when I was bored. It's like, it's a foot, and then like as the leg goes up, it turns into a wrist and a hand. So it's just it's a little weird design, and it's probably something you'll see from like Adult Swim. But I'll draw like these little doodles because I'll get bored in class. Anyone draws doodles. If you looked at a high school desk, but I'll just draw these strange things, and people like, how do you come up with these? Like, what is this? And that's definitely like how I get with the psychedelic game genre, because you've got crap that doesn't make sense upon first glance, And that's why
Hmm.
I'm kind of relating because, you know, people might look at these games and think, did the person who made this go insane or something? Like, what is
Yeah,
this?
if you see the reviews of my game, for sure many thinks it. Like we have the proof.
Yeah, that's because I'm proving to my friends like, no, I'm not weird or anything. Which they're my friends, they know. It's a joke between me and my friends. But when I'm talking to like someone I don't know, like I'll be drawing in the middle of class and some kid will walk by my desk and just give me weird looks. It's like I'm just drawing stuff for fun. Okay, I can't. This is the first thing my mind thinks of. So this is another reason why I like psychedelic because it's just I think of the weirdest stuff to draw and I'll draw it or whatever. And you've got these game devs just putting in random stuff in a game and it's all weird. So one question I had too was just like, how did people? I see how people react in the comments, but like, how did your friends see your game? Like, with all the visuals and stuff.
They were surprised because like I've learned to make games that like it was like 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I was obsessed. I was obsessed. Like if I had something at noon that day, I would wake up at 6 a.m. to start like because I wanted to finish the menu and
Mm-hmm.
like and I want the text to be moving a bit and
Yeah.
and stuff. And like but I think they felt the people that know me uh like felt, oh yeah, that's the new Gabriel thing. Like he
Mm.
made that.
Mm-hmm.
So my close friend like really know that I enjoy like doing the most unexpected thing.
Yeah.
And I feel that like not making an album or not making music and making a game instead was like a move that I was pretty proud of. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, yeah, not even like my next album is a game. Like, fuck it. Like, like so to me it was like logical in my in my art thing.
Yeah.
But like for sure, like I love I love that like when you're doing something weird, it we call it weird, but to me it's like just honest.
Yeah.
That's honestly something that my brain can like do.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's exciting to me a lot.
Yeah, because when I put pencil to paper, I don't think of what I'm drawing beforehand. I don't plan. Like,
Mm,
the half the crap I draw is just like it makes no sense, and that's how it's like really supposed to be. Once I put the pencil to paper, I just start drawing. I don't have a plan. I'll usually start out drawing like a guy's face. Like, okay, I'll draw the outline of the head. I'm like, ooh, what if this guy had like a cool little business suit or something? So I'll draw a little suit. Um, and I'll just like keep adding to it as I go. And it ends up being this whole weird thing because, it's obviously not planned. So it'll be like a guy, but he's got like maybe one leg or something, or like five arms. It's just a whole thing of just this is supposed to be different, so I'm gonna let it be
yeah.
different. And I feel like that's kind of the thing. I mean, I know there's more planning to making a game, obviously, but just like
Mhm.
I feel like with these games, you're given more freedom to just let your mind wander. I've,
Yeah. Yeah, and letting the person that plays minds wander too.
it's definitely
But
a two-way thing. It helps creativity on both sides,
mhm,
which I really love about these.
yeah. I feel that the way I made the game is the same way I make music.
Hmm.
Like when I try to have an idea for like an art thing,
Yeah.
I really love to feel when I'm gonna listen to this, how am I gonna feel?
Hmm.
And like what am I missing in the world right now that like in the art world at the very least
Yeah.
that would make me feel a certain way that is like just a bit new, a bit like something cool.
Hmm.
And like to me like when I started making lava lamp, like it's mostly that idea that like you just draw a doodle
Hmm.
and like you're just like on top of your head.
Yeah.
But like making a game, it takes a long time.
Mm-hmm.
but you have to keep that fresh idea that you had like in a glimpse.
Yeah.
Like it's like it lasts like a second or something, but like it just, wow, wouldn't it be great like to make a game about breakfast and like clicking stuff and like
Mm-hmm.
having some ideas about like what it feels like when you click stuff and
Yeah.
like just like a story, very weird story that like could like bring joy, but like
Yeah.
or something like that. There's immediacy. There's like this idea of like a doodle, but like refined
Mm-hmm.
at over time. But like keeping that idea, that very fresh idea that like like it's like a doodle in a
Yeah.
way. It's like a brain fart, maybe
Mm-hmm.
we could say. But like you stick to
Yeah.
it.
No, I get that. And one thing with playing this game too, when you mentioned like being happy and stuff, is these games, when will I ever be put in a situation where I gotta save space lemmings from space? Like these situations, they're not realistic at all, but
Mm,
they put you in this world. And the thing with like, and your game did this perfectly. I'm really just impressed by it. Is I'm put in this situation like I can't relate to it at all. Maybe the closest thing about this game is, yeah, I eat cereal too, but I'm put in this world totally alien to me. But I'm given this goal. I gotta save these space lemmings, and as I'm playing through, and I finally save them, you know, it leaves an impact on me. And like after the game, I just this is in my reaction to the game because I recorded my first gameplay with my mic and stuff, so I had some commentary. And while the credits are rolling, I'm just like, wow, I saved those space lemmings. And so
yay.
definitely when you're put in this game where it's not realistic, you have no way to like relate to any of it, and you have no idea what's going on. It just captivates me how these games can still leave an impact on you and make you feel good that you did something. Like I saved these space lemmings, I did good,
Yay.
and that's one thing I love. You don't know what's going on, nothing, but you can still, but like games like this still manage to leave an impact. And that's one thing that really hit me with this game. That's one of the motivations why I wanted to interview you and make this video like really good, because the impact it left was just, you know, something I haven't seen much anymore in games. And so I just wanted to praise it.
Wow. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. It touches me a lot. And like all the comments on Steam too. Like the first time, it's so like as a musician, seeing people having gameplay
Mm-hmm.
is like is way more psychedelic than like making the game. Like
Yeah.
it's so weird having people play the game
Mm-hmm.
commenting or just like somebody else.
Yeah.
It could be terrifying, I would, because like you don't there's a bit of that on YouTube, like people listening and commenting, but I not as much as video game, like
Yeah.
not even close. And it's wow, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you so much. And I feel like music, you can have like this heart to heart feeling, but I feel that people that really like the game like really had like a, because like they're very much enter my mind in
Mm-hmm.
the end. And to me something about like universe, like there's so many games in so many universe, like whether it's like medieval or whether
Mm-hmm.
it's sci-fi and stuff, but it always occurred to me like you could do anything,
Yeah.
like any universe in video game. And like it's always still a lot like sci-fi and like
Mm-hmm.
medieval, which I love most of the time.
Yeah.
But like it could be anything.
Mm-hmm. But it's definitely one of the stronger aspects with these, especially if you're good at telling a story, which a lot of people aren't. So it's very, that's also just a good talent. If you can tell a good story, you know, it's just it's just very it's hard to put into words. I enjoyed playing it, and for the video, I went back to play it again for like a silent. So I muted my mic and I played the game again just to gather some more footage. And even when I played it again, I kind of rushed through it. You know, I knew what I was doing this time since I already played the game, so I just kind of rushed through it a bit. But even after, I wasn't really bored. I wasn't like, I never saw it as like a chore. You know, I never was like, gotta play it again. No, I was like, I'm gonna play Lava Lamp again for this video. And when I did, after I beat it, I already knew the ending, but just seeing like that I still accomplished something, seeing the cutscenes, the beautiful scenery at the end where you've got the space lemmings jumping towards this bright light, just seeing that again, I already knew what happened, but it hit the same, you know. So it
Yeah,
definitely one of the few games like this that I can play again and still enjoy. Like I already know the
yeah,
story, but it was still fun. I wasn't bored, wasn't didn't see it as a chore to play again. It's just it was fun the second time, which is something I can't say for a lot of games.
well, sometimes they're too long, first of all.
Hmm.
But like it's this idea that video game could be like a bit more like movies or a bit more like an
Hmm.
album.
Yeah, because I
Like
can
like the
definitely
out
listen to the same music again. I can watch the
exactly.
movie again. So that's one thing I do agree with you strongly about, especially this, seeing that you're a musical artist and reflecting this through a game. Definitely, like you've not had experience making a game before, or I don't know, have you?
Well, I did some weird, like even more underground stuff before. I made music for games. I had a friend
Mm-hmm.
that like made games for the Dreamcast,
Hmm.
like homebrew games for the Dreamcast, Sega
Oh,
Dreamcast.
that's cool.
And like so I made music, and that's the way I started like to just like making music for games.
Yeah.
And like so I did a bunch of stuff, but by myself that's for sure the first game.
Okay, because yeah, seeing like that you mainly have experience in making music, so that's your strong suit. And then when you're
Yeah.
put into the world of making a game, you know, it's better to, and you know, you did this really well is that you focus on your strong suit. Like
Hmm.
when people like make a game for the first time, they focus on the game. And usually the game sometimes is good, sometimes it's bad. But you took your strong suit and focus that into making the game instead of just focusing on making the game, which is one thing that helped a lot and one thing I never thought of. So that's really good that you kept with your strong suit. That's something most people don't do, myself included. So I just kind of had like a huge realization. But that's very, very interesting too because you have more experience making music than games. So when you
Yeah,
make
a
a
lot.
game, you use that experience and, you know, usually when people make a game, the first game's not good. But you've made music for a while now, I'm sure. So you probably, as most people are, are good at making music. So it's very, you know, interesting. And your first game, for this being your first game, it's really good. Like I clicked on
Thank
your
you.
profile to see, okay, this game's really good. I want to see what his first game was. Huh? Would you look at that? So
That's the first one,
very
yeah.
surprising. And you know, you took your strong suit, made it into a game, and I feel like that's very motivational in itself. You know, like that saying,
Yeah.
if you're good at doing something, do it. Very simple
Hmm.
saying, and it goes good with this genre of games, but it just goes good with anything. So I feel like that in itself is something to be preached, and this game could be like an example of it. So very,
Yay.
very positive note that I really enjoy.
Thank you. But yeah, I think it's the pacing. Like it's really seeing video game like as like another form of like expression.
Mm-hmm.
And to me it's not that far away from like a music video.
Yeah.
It's not that far away. Because like I pretty much like you can spend the time you want
Mm-hmm.
like in those universe and those little levels,
Yeah.
but I pretty much know how much time you're gonna spend in those. So it's just like pacing,
Yeah.
like and just like energy, like
Mm-hmm.
little waves
Well, with you
and stuff,
mentioning,
and it's kind of music to me.
yeah, with you mentioning, you know, you made this game like kind of like how an album is. And, you
Mm.
know, you're familiar with the pacing of an album. Anyone who listens to music albums are familiar with the pacing. And since almost everyone on this earth has listened to music, that also helps with the game and its strength and being enjoyable, because it's very, I can definitely see the relation between a music album and the game. And that's one thing that helps with it a lot, is its pacing, which, you know, it never got too boring. Actually, it never got boring for me at all, even the second time I played. And it was never too rushed. You know, I always felt like I had this freedom. I could take as much time as I wanted. Like when you're listening
Mm.
to a song, obviously, you know, you can slow down a song or not. But when you're listening to a good album, the albums always tell a story. The good ones, at least. Or most of them. So this album tells a story. And if you're listening to an artist, I can't think of an example right now, but some artists will just express themselves with the album, and each song in the album tells its own story. But I think Igor by Tyler the Creator is the only one I can think of. The
Hmm.
whole album tells a story, and that's one thing that I can kind of see a correlation with the game. Is, you know, the pacing and everything. It's all done really good, and I can't.
Yay.
I know I'm talking like this example is all over the place, but it's so unique. It's hard to find a thing to correlate it to, but I can understand the relation with an album, and it definitely is a good way of expression for this game.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Thank you.
So I have more questions about the game itself too. Like, so with the ideas of it, where did Space Lemmings come from?
The space lemmings from space. You have to say it the whole
Oh
thing,
yeah,
because like
where did
you
the
might
Space
like,
Lemmings from space come from?
because it could be like another kind of space lemming.
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's also like just there's this great artist that is called Lamonte Young. Lamonte Young, like he's a composer from like mostly the 60s, like of new music.
Mm.
Like, and this guy, he made like one of his good pieces, like the tuned piano, and it's a piece where he improvised for 5 hours on his piano and
Dang.
stuff with lighting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's between music and like performing arts.
Yeah.
And like he wrote a sentence at some point. It said like, draw a straight line and follow it. Like it's just like it's a music piece, and like just the only instruction is like, draw a straight line and follow it.
Mm-hmm.
And like to me, the Space Lemmings from Space is just like an idea I got and like just stuck to it. Just like you have to like in Mario, you have to save the princess,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't really save the princess. Like you go in all those tunnel and like
Yeah.
hit like some take mushrooms and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and like you don't really do it. The Space Lemmings from Space to me was like those characters that are kind of bit like those characters that are just pure love and that are your friends,
Mm-hmm.
and and to me, like I try to put that idea of like very of being very nostalgic, like they made this cartoon when you were young and you love them,
Mm-hmm.
but like the relationship is a bit blurry, because like do you really know them or not? I don't
Yeah.
know still, but like it, it's just like a feeling to me, the Space Lemmings from Space.
Mm-hmm.
The name I just got at some point, like, oh, Space Lemmings from Space, that's funny, because like it's like circling and stuff, and it really works for music. I'm having a hard time these days making music without the lyric Space Lemmings from Space, because it just really works musically.
Oh, I know that when you first wake up in that room and you hear the alarm, that song, I I can't. I love that song. Like in the video, I said This is what I say word for word. I said, so we wake up into this room, and when the alarm goes off, I just gotta say that I need this alarm for my phone, and then I just let it play straight. I sat there in my chair, recorded the song, and then just stuck it in the video. And it goes on for like a minute. Like I just let that song play because it. Usually when you see free games, the songs aren't that good. Which most people that make these games, they get someone else to make music. They don't have good music like
Yeah, maybe they
abilities.
even buy music like that
Yeah,
is already made or something
but
like
with your
that. Stock.
experience, you obviously know how to make good music, and that's shown wonderfully through the game. And even the credit song,
Yeah,
like we
thanks.
say the space. Yeah, I love the soundtrack. Even like it's really good.
Thank you. So like the space lemming, like it's hard. So I just wanted to make that entity and that goal
Hmm.
in life that it's just the goal of the game.
Yeah.
But it makes sense in the end, like, but like just like this pure feeling of love
Hmm.
and those true friends that you have,
Yeah.
and like this idea of like good friendship,
Hmm.
and like and like you have to save them by eating breakfast,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. It's just like ideas that I stuck to. But like the space lemmings from space, in the end, it's like it's not saving the space lemmings from space. It's like saving something,
Yeah.
and it could be anything in your life. Like I felt in that moment that I needed like to step up my game, and like because like I went to like mental health issues and stuff like that, and I
Hmm.
I needed to take better care of myself
Yeah.
in general. And so saving the space lemmings from space to me is like taking care of myself.
Hmm.
But like it could be so many things. Like it could be like helping some of your friend, or like it embodies like this idea of like you have to save something and you have to work out to make it work. And that's what I feel that in that story, like it's just very open,
Hmm.
like what the space lemmings from space can embody.
Yeah.
But like yeah, I don't know if it's a good answer. It's very unclear to me too what the space lemmings from space are. They're really clearly the space lemmings from space, but like
Yeah.
I mean, in the more general, like in the narrative side, I'd say like it can be a lot of things. Is that what that's what I like about psychedelic like
Yeah. The open
world.
mindedness.
Yeah, it can be a lot of thing in your life. What do you need to save
Hmm.
right now?
So that is really good. I like that. That's a good message, and I definitely got some like that when I played the game for the first time. You've got to save something, but when you're
Mm,
first playing, you have no idea what the space lemmings are. You just when you first load in, it's got that screen that says the space lemmings from space need you. So it definitely puts up that you need to save these things from something. But it definitely by the end of the game, I can definitely tell that maybe these were a metaphor for something, and it definitely helped
yeah,
with the open mindedness. Like I can say, like it definitely related to me, like with my problems. Like if I have any problems to save something, that definitely like puts up that open mindedness to my interpretation. And so that's one thing that I feel like anyone who plays this can enjoy because there's not a set story, there's not a straight, or there's a straight line, but there's not like a set thing. It's however you interpret it. So
yeah.
really, really good. It's a big strength in this game, and it's what I enjoyed. For
And
this,
it also takes something from like saving Princess Peach or something.
yeah.
There's always like something in that, especially in the old video games,
Mhm.
like especially like the SNES or N64 era. Like you had
Yeah.
that fake goal, but
Mhm.
like I try to like it's again like the scenario is made by a musician, and to me like I create sound to create vibes,
Mhm.
and to me like the space lemmings from space are a vibe,
Yeah.
like just like a great like loving friendship vibe that
Mhm.
you need to save and take care of.
Yeah. I do see that, and that's one thing I enjoyed was just also the vibe done really well, the atmosphere of the game. and the immersion too. All those worked and complement each other, and it just turned out perfectly. So when you call this game art, that definitely is true. So
Yeah.
it's really good. The storytelling too. Another question is like, because you mentioned the Space Lemmings, it's up to interpretation. So when you made this game, did you have a story in mind, per se?
I had like I had this to me it was more like how the story is going to get told
Mm-hmm.
and how is it going to feel when you're going to play it, and finding like a specific vibe, a specific atmosphere, because again I'm a musician,
Yeah.
and like what could make you feel that way,
Mm-hmm.
like a very open fun story. It goes all over the place. To me, when to be like very very captivated by a story,
Mm-hmm.
I like maybe like songs that don't have like that many words.
Yeah.
I like songs that like are open to interpretation,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know, like I needed something that would make me feel that way,
Yeah.
that would make me feel like, whoa, that game goes so many places, but also like it has its internal logic
Mm-hmm.
and like internal like emotions also,
Yeah.
like not just being a freak out thing. It's like also very caring, also like a lot of very sweet
Mm-hmm.
things in it, like and yeah, the story would just add up with like these ideas, like what like top of your head ideas, but like you stick to it,
Mm-hmm.
like and you embrace it and you put love in it.
Yeah.
So like it makes sense to you. It's like a universe that I'm happy to be in
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So a lot of scrapped ideas, but
Yeah.
like a lot of like ideas that are yeah are still in the game, but like yeah, I don't know if I answer good. Like it's just like I love art that like can make me feel that way, and I try to
Mm-hmm.
produce it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's obviously like when you have games where it's open mindedness. I get it's hard to answer like certain questions because there is no set thing. So obviously, like with these questions, I'm not really looking for the straightforward answer because that really doesn't exist. I get that. It's so I'm curious just because like when understanding these games, it's always important to understand the thought process behind them too. Because like I said, when people see these games at first glance, so much colors, so much random stuff. How did this
Mm,
person even come up with this? So it's just more of like understanding the person behind it, really. So I definitely
yeah,
get what you're saying,
but
and
I was very excited by like I need a lot of dopamine. I
yeah.
feel I think I'm ADHD. We don't know anymore, but like I'm probably ADHD, so I need a lot of dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
And like so I create these images with like which seems just to me like just like it's just the right amount of color to
Yeah.
me. It's not that weird to me,
Mm-hmm.
the visuals. But I was really excited in this idea of like those nostalgic like 90s cereal commercials
Mm-hmm.
back in the days. Like when I was a kid, there was all these TV shows, and there was like cereal breakfast cereal commercials, and they
Mm-hmm.
were crazy. Like they put like so much money in it, and so maybe I don't know how I know that breakfast cereal went down at
Yeah.
some point because people don't feed that to their children anymore, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thing. It's mostly sugar.
Yeah.
But like I like to create, but it was like a like all those like milk commercial, maybe like it's also always like very warm, very
Yeah.
very family, very like you're good in that. And I wanted to keep that idea like a very warm, where like sugar doesn't exist, like it's not a bad thing, it's like a good thing, it's
Mm-hmm.
like warm, it's like good for you.
Yeah.
And like a blanket of I want to create that warm atmosphere
Mhm.
around like the that like a very very vivid but warm, at least to me. That's what I it feels to me, the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I I do see that too. The warm atmosphere, if you got a bunch of more orange, red, and yellow colors, especially in the first section in that first room, or when you leave that white room and you're in the room with the table, the bowl, and the cereal.
Hmm.
So that room definitely is the warmest of them all.
Yeah.
And which one thing I want to mention about that room too, when you first load in, you've got that calm music and the sunshine shining through that window to your left. That I complimented a lot in the video. I like that part. So, and that's also another compliment with the music. But like also
Yeah.
I do see like the warmness and the calmness, and definitely like there's so much stuff in that room too. Is there like a point where when you were making this game, did you try to like, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this, like with all the stuff, is there a way like all the assets you used, is that, were they just all random? Was there meaning behind them, and were they like put there to like build the story and the world?
Yeah, most of them are really thought about the story in the room. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a mushroom; it's like muffins,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
for sure. And like, yeah, I really tried. Like, there was like the birds. Like, I couldn't come up with birds that would sound like appropriately coming from outside.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's so much easier from a programming standpoint to just like put a sound like in a place,
Yeah.
but like that makes it like directional, and like it's just like not natural.
Mm-hmm.
So I just put a speaker, and so like it works.
Yeah.
Like when you put a speaker, because like okay, the sound comes from the speaker, so like it can be like not like like I don't know. So sometimes the universe would build itself from like the tools I use,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the time there's not that many assets actually in the game.
Yeah.
When you think of it, there's not that many. So like just reusing the same assets and like having fun with just like shaders mostly.
Mm.
Like I'm kind of a one trick pony in the game. Like it's mostly like shaders, having fun with shaders, and
Mm-hmm.
like creating post effect, post like a post uh,
Like
uh,
the noodles, how there's like a bunch of different types.
the noodles.
Like, oh, or you like pasta, like the with the noodles and stuff. Is that what we're getting at? Like with how like they're all the same thing, but they're all different shapes.
No, most of the are the same shapes. Like I reuse like that muffin. It's almost in every single moment in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The speakers, the sofa. At some point, there's the sofa pretty much
Yeah.
everywhere. So just reusing the same assets and changing like the shaders and changing like the post effect,
Mm-hmm.
post process effects,
Mm-hmm.
like in a very technical point of view. Like it's mostly post effect and like shaders that change.
Yeah.
So like all these assets, to me, like having not many assets in the game really creates sense in itself, and really create like something that works, because like there's all the universe are very different,
Mm-hmm.
very different, but like they still have something in common. In the end, it's very simple how
Yeah.
many assets I have, because I'm not that of a great 3D modeler. Like there's a couple of models that I made myself. Most of them are made myself, but
Mm-hmm.
like there's stuff like I don't know, like a table, or like there's a couple of assets that I have took on the
Mm-hmm.
internet and made it myself with mostly shaders, mostly colors.
Yeah.
So again, it's also like going with what I can do and what I can't,
Mm-hmm.
and like that makes my style. The limitation makes the style to me also, and like I'm not afraid of being limited,
Mm-hmm.
because I made that mistake a lot in music, like because like I have a lot of skills in music,
Mm-hmm.
and like you can like put like so many drums, so many synthesizers, so many guitars, so many things. You can do anything,
Yeah.
but sometimes the people that can only play guitar and sing make something that is more direct.
Yeah.
And to me, I entered like video game creation like that. Like I'm not that good at 3D modeler,
Mm-hmm.
but like when I can, but reusing it like
Mm-hmm.
makes the style of the game a lot to me.
Yeah.
I don't.
So,
I,
yeah, when you said like the shaders and stuff, because one problem with games that reuse assets, it gets all repetitive. Like, oh, they're lazy. But when I saw these assets, you put up to where like, it looked like there were hundreds of different ones, thousands, and that's a good thing with the shaders. It definitely doesn't make it all look repetitive, and it makes the world fast. So that's obviously, you know, one guy made a game, so very limited on assets being able to use. So it's really good seeing that you took advantage with what you had, and you used it really well. Like I never thought, like I did see the muffins, like you'd see them outside in that one room, but then you'd see them on the island in the other one. But it never got repetitive or anything, which is really good when making a game and reusing assets. One thing you want to try to avoid is coming off as repetitive and lazy, which was not in this game. So very good,
yeah, but
very
sometimes putting new stuff all the time makes it repetitive or
yeah.
makes it boring.
So
And
it
it's
definitely
a bit like the music. Like there's
yeah.
most of the sounds, the sounds of the music are in all of the music,
Mhm.
all of the songs. Like there's this choir sound, there's
Yeah.
some guitar sounds, there's some string sounds. They're pretty. I have used a very limited palette of
Mhm.
sounds, like not that limited, but like I'm not trying to have that many sounds. So that's what's creating the style.
Mhm. So yeah, I guess saying like with your experience with music definitely helped you with creating that balance. So that's another strong suit. But another thing with the game that I want to notice is there's this one cutscene, or two of them. After you activate the magic tarts, Vision all gets all wonky and stuff, and then it speaks in French for the first two. And obviously,
Yeah.
you're a French speaker from Quebec. So, is there, with your making of the game, was there any like reason why, any particular reason why you made it in English, some parts in French? Like, was there any just reason for it?
I thought it would be fun for an English speaker, like just at some point there's a foreign language,
Mm-hmm.
like in a and those sound a bit like a documentary, like an old VHS
Mm-hmm.
documentary or stuff. That's what
Yeah.
I try. I don't explain it at all, but to me, I just try to make like these excerpts of like that weird documentary in a foreign language like
Mm-hmm.
pop up, and like I just to me it was like a very easy way to like freak out people, just like
Mm.
okay, you have a weird French part in the game, just like it's a way to creating like like just a new thing. It was an easy way to create a new way.
Mm-hmm.
And it also, like, since I'm a French speaker, I thought it would be funny like to just like address it. Okay, I'm speaking French, so like why not a French part in the game?
Yeah.
Like to me it was just a funny idea too, and like just something that could add to the narrative of the
Mm-hmm.
game, just like like it's like music again. Like I'm always coming back to that answer, but like to me, like just music is just like a fine line between what you expect and new ideas.
Yeah.
And like to me it felt great. Like to me, if that part was it would be in English, it would be bit less interesting that
Mm-hmm.
like, oh no, okay, now we're like speaking French, like okay, cool.
Yeah.
But like I made it work like so it's like an old documentary or something,
Yeah.
VHS tape or something.
When I was editing the video and I came across that cutscene with the French, I was like, "Is there a deeper meaning? What's with the French out of nowhere?" So that's when I looked up the Space Lemmings website, and then I found your YouTube, and it said, name Gabriel, location Canada. Like, okay, so he's probably from Quebec because that's where French speakers are in Canada. And sure enough, yeah. So that also got me to like find you. That cutscene right there was how I like figured out, you know, like how I found your YouTube and all that stuff. So I
Well,
guess it's very interesting seeing how you put this little cutscene in as like a little goof, a little joke. Yet that cutscene is the main reason why we're even talking right now. So I feel like that must be interesting
wow.
to see that, you put this little thing in with no really thought, just something out of the random, and now look what it's done.
That's amazing. It's crazy. It also tells me, yeah, maybe I should get more like easily available because like you've obviously put a lot of work to find me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so thank you for that. Like, but yeah, it's again like it's just I like to be like having new stuff and like expecting and having new stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and so to me that was a easy way to put like a new stuff but is also quite personal again.
Yeah.
Like okay, you enter my mind and I speak French, so at some point, oh, there's French.
Mm-hmm. That's
Just like in
definitely.
my life there's a lot of English and a lot of French and it
Yeah.
switches up, so
That's definitely like a prime example of when we were talking about like how games, when you're making a game, it reflects who you are. So that's definitely the prime example right there that we could use as proof of that. So you know definitely proves the art aspect of it. But another thing too, I guess, and I'm sure making a game in English was just like kind of the really common sense of it because most of the world speaks English. Most
yeah.
countries in Europe, they're required to take English as a second language class. So when you're
Mhm.
making a game, making a song, making a book, anything, your first idea is probably if your goal is to reach a lot of people, you'd make it in
Mhm.
English. If it's more of a local book or a game, you'd keep it in your native language. But
Yeah.
English at almost every corner of the globe, it obviously makes sense to have that. So, but when you include French and stuff, it obviously adds some personal to it, some more local thing about it,
Yeah.
which I really like about that. You've got this game made of English, which isn't common.
Yeah.
Almost everything now has English to it. But when you add French, it adds that sort of personality and character to it, which I really
Yeah.
like about that.
And also like I wrote like the scenario in English
Mm-hmm.
like firsthand, and but that part I wrote in French for no particular reasons, telling myself because like it's more like I don't know, like it didn't came up like
Mm-hmm.
in French for in English for no particular reason, but like I tried to translate it and like it didn't work out, like I don't know.
Hmm.
So in the end I was just like maybe I'm just gonna keep it in French for no particular reasons,
Mm-hmm.
but like I had the intent of translating it in English, but like it's the only part I wrote in French from the
Mm-hmm.
first from the start, and
Yeah.
like I just kept it.
Another thing too. The other thing that's in French is chapter three, or no, not chapter two, and I forgot exactly what it said, but it was like something about the breakfast forest. And
Hmm.
so when I tried translating it, because the cutscene, it has closed captions at the bottom in English, so it's already translated. But when I found when the chapter two sequence went and the title of it, it said like des something, and it meant like the breakfast forest or something like that.
C'est yeah, yeah, it's la forêt des déjeuners, but like it's the breakfast forest in French.
Yeah, so
It's
that was
la
another thing, and I've tried putting it in Google Translate, and it said the forest of lunches.
Yeah, it's the breakfast forest.
Yeah, it
Because in France, déjeuner is like what they have like at noon, but like
mhm.
in Quebec, déjeuner is like breakfast.
Okay, cause yeah, so I, which I don't trust Google Translate too much because it's Google Translate. So obviously, when
Yeah.
it pulled up the breakfast or the forest of lunches, I was like, that's a Google Translate problem. But also, I put it in French because I don't think there probably was a Quebec option. I just overlooked it maybe, but I always put it in French, which I'm American. People in UK, we obviously have different ways of saying stuff. So that's also one thing with the accent barrier, because you're in Quebec, not France. So obviously
Yeah.
there's some differences in the wording. So that's another thing. But it was interesting, and it piqued my interest, just like seeing this language out of nowhere. So it definitely adds to the psychedelic, just the randomness of it.
Yeah.
But
It's a way like because psychedelic you want like randomness, but
mm-hmm.
like it's also a randomness that makes sense
Yeah,
because like it's still like a language
yeah,
and
because once
like
I looked you up and like saw that you're from Canada, I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's not just random French; it's reflecting him. He's probably from Quebec, so
yeah.
it definitely also too just helps add the character and what we were talking about, the
Yeah.
representation.
And maybe it justifies the very simple English I use
Mm-hmm.
in the game. Like, cause also that makes the style of the text is like that. It's not my first language,
Yeah.
so I guess like it makes sense like to maybe it explain a bit in itself why the language is so simple in the game. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know.
Another thing. So with when I play the game, obviously, basically my video setup, I'm playing it like I'm doing voiceovers of just me explaining what I'm doing and what's going on. And so I have footage of the game playing over while I'm voicing over. So I'm doing like a gameplay uh, section. Then towards the end, I'm gonna do like a lore section. I'm gonna try to understand the story of it and give my theory of what it is and provide things from the game um, as evidence. And at the very end, I'm gonna like include bits of our interview, if that's fine with you.
Cool.
And then
Sure.
since this interview's like long, which it was planned to be, every interview when you've got questions about a game, it's not gonna take 30 minutes. So I'm thinking of like doing clips of this, like the really like important stuff about the game in the video, but then making a separate video of the full interview. If that's all right with you.
Yeah, sure.
So this is definitely the biggest project I've worked on, and I'm proud of it. So,
Wow.
you
Thank you
know,
so much.
you're welcome. About the lore too. So the story of the game, is there like, because I know like we said like the story is just like how Space Lemmings can be a metaphor for you personally, but when you're looking at it in an in-universe thing, is there a set like story that takes place within the universe that's not meant to be like anything related to the real world per se, or is
What do you mean? Sorry, can you ask again?
yeah, is like given in the game universe, like how Mario can be seen as like a guy trying to save the princess in the universe, but when you're taking it in real world context, it's some guy fighting over his problems. There's these obstacles and stuff he's going over. So in the game, is there a separate story that
Whoa.
just like
I
exists
lost you.
within?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, did it start
Oh,
lagging a
I
bit?
some
Okay. Oh, we're back.
Oh,
There was some
we're
lag. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Basically just to simplify, Mario within the game, his goal is to save the princess. That's the story within the game. When you're taking it in real life context, it's a guy overcoming his problems. He's got all these obstacles in the way that he's overcoming to reach this goal. So
Mhm.
we've talked about when you're taking the story of the game to an outside perspective, it's you overcoming your problems, saving the space lemmings. But is there
Mhm.
like a specific story that's just reserved within the game?
Yeah, I have like a whole universe. Like the lava lamp scenario is like just a very small portion of like the whole universe,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm planning to make another game
Okay, so
to
that's gonna
that.
take place in the same universe.
Yeah, that would expand
Okay, I'm
the
definitely looking
universe.
forward to that.
Yeah, yeah, and I am too. But yeah, there's an in-game logic, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of my life that I try to pour in.
Yeah.
But like I don't want like it to feel like, oh, my life. I don't want like to be like a
Mm-hmm.
autobiographical.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to have like a intern logic
Mm-hmm.
of it, but like yeah, everything that I'm talking about in the game, I don't know. Uh, I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
But like yeah, this idea that I think there's one of the most like I had problem eating breakfast every day. That would be like the most like clear like part of my life that I've put like the most clearly in the game
Mm-hmm.
is that I had problem eating breakfast. and like and like so I made a game to like encourage me to like eat more breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
and like it means something like and like by that way I've become interested like in the whole universe of breakfast. What if breakfast was a universe?
Yeah. Okay. I
And
can
like
see that. Yeah, because I definitely I'm not a morning person. So when I wake up for school, by the time I actually like wake up and get ready, I'm like 5 minutes before I have to be out the door. So I
mm,
definitely have a problem eating breakfast too. I don't reserve enough time for it. So this also definitely like I can see that from a personal perspective, which is something you probably didn't even think anyone would relate with. I don't know
yeah.
because it's such a concept. You know, you have a problem eating breakfast, you put it in the game, which is not a very common problem. So I'm sure it's probably interesting hearing me say, "Oh, I've got the same problem."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think many people have that, but like it's just one thing. Everybody has like a little thing.
Yeah.
But like eating breakfast is like such a I don't know, like it's a fun like I just try to have an idea, like draw a straight line and follow it,
Yeah.
like breakfast,
Mhm.
and like you just go full on breakfast. Like, what if I made a universe around breakfast
Mhm.
and the space lemmings from space? There's these creatures that really loves breakfast and
Mhm.
like
Yeah, the importance of breakfast is definitely like put forward. You know, you see all these examples, and I discuss it. I discuss all the examples and stuff. So I say like when you enter in that room after you leave that first room, you're in that that one warm room with the speaker. Before you do that, it says like chapter one, and then it has a picture of a spoon. And when you press spacebar, it's got the bite, a crunch of like eating breakfast.
mm,
So that's definitely like. And then throughout the game, you see cereal boxes. Cereal. You've got that one section that says, some people think spoons are created for drinking soup, but no, they were made for eating cereal with milk. So the importance of it is definitely like seen throughout the game, which obviously like keeps it in a straight path. You obviously like know what it's about, but it's just a very interesting concept. And I can see the hearing this context, I can now see the correlation between you as a person and reflecting it into the game. So
yeah, but if you can't like it's taking care of yourself
mm-hmm.
in general too.
Yeah,
Like to help people, you have to take care of yourself.
yeah.
And like eating breakfast is a very common way to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Here, I'm
So
gonna
so
let's see. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen real quick. I want to show you just something on a Google Doc, my script for the video. So just let's see. Share screen, entire screen. Alright, there we go. See if you can see that. So I've got quite a bit. Got 13 pages. This section right
Wow,
here is
my
the
God,
lore.
13 pages.
But yeah, I mean, when I said I worked hard, I worked hard. But this right here
That's
is
so funny to me because like the whole scenario of the game is like 2 pages.
well, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's definitely surprising. But I've got so I've got a whole theory of what I think about the game is, and
Wow,
it's definitely I'm gonna this is gonna be like my lore part at towards the end of the video. So
that's
obviously
amazing.
obviously when it comes to understanding the lore and stuff, it could be maybe subjective. Yeah, I'll stop sharing this. But I'm sure it could
Damn.
be maybe subjective, like to the idea, like maybe people have a different idea of what the lore is. So when I tried
Yeah.
understanding this, I obviously got that most of this is probably metaphors, but I wanted to try to understand how would this make sense within this universe. So I've got a theory that like basically short and summary, these plants and stuff, when you go look at that tree in that one room, you have those symbols pop around your screen. It
Yeah.
gives me the idea that maybe this plant is giving off some kind of fumes, right? Saying you see this stuff. And maybe that's why you see the world all crazy, because there's all these things around you giving off these fumes. So I've made up the theory, and this is in huge simplary summary. I'm going to go into more detail at the video. But these space lemmings, right? When you go to these like areas like the islands and stuff, you see these benches and these couches like you mentioned earlier. And I'm thinking, well, no way people lived in these. Maybe these space lemmings were around these hallucinogens, and the fumes affected their minds and made them conscious. So they built a society. They made these couches and stuff because they lived here as a people. Then they expanded like humans did, and went to space. And now they're not stuck in space, but they've left all their parts behind, not wanting to look, not wanting to come back. So they left their ships there to fuel because they weren't planning on coming back. They needed no use for those. But now they're in space, and this is how it ties into like how some games represent depression. You know, when you look upon the
Mhm.
stars and think, you know, when we were cavemen or whatever, we'd see the stars and we'd be like, "Oh, that's where the gods are. That's that's our border." Like the Greeks, they made the stars as like constellations and images of their gods and stuff. That was their meaning. But in the 60s, when we went to space, we saw it was just stars and it was infinite galaxies. So it really crushed that belief of like, you know, that we believed like as cavemen before. So seeing this as when space lemmings gained consciousness and they looked up to the stars, when they went to space, this existential dread dropped on them, like how we feel. Like, you know, are we alone? Is there no one else? Are we the only ones? Why is space so infinite? Is it like it just made them feel small? So we have to save the space lemmings, not from space itself, but from the existential dread that they feel. So when we
Mm.
get this chips and help them, we help them come back to Earth to where they can live back where they were, and they give us a dopamine hit, as it says, as a reward. So I don't. This theory probably sounds strange to you if this was like an idea. It's just that's one thing with these games when you're trying to understand the story, you know. Which I don't know if you've heard this. It's a real story about. It's called the stoned ape theory. So
Okay.
when we were cavemen, the theory is like we came across like these mushrooms or whatever and the psychedelics, and we'd be on them and we'd like see all these weird things. And these psychedelics are why we gain consciousness, because they made our brains like see all these weird stuff and understand our surroundings. Which there's flaws in this theory, but it just says that basically
Oh
when we were
no!
cavemen. Oh, did it
Stop!
freeze again?
Oh no, okay,
Okay.
it's back.
Yeah, so it just says when we were cavemen, we got so
Yeah.
stoned that we gained consciousness and became a society. So obviously, like,
The Stone Age.
hmm so that's definitely. I mean, this might be a reach, but just seeing that how this game's so open to interpretation, you know, I
Yeah.
came up with this theory that these space lemmings just got stoned off these fumes, became a society, And just like humans, they went to space, and seeing that there's like none of these gods, these constellations or anything up in space, they just got that dread. And we're saving them by basically this is coincidentally like how I kind of hit spot on with the meaning. We save them from space, bringing them back to Earth, and we have to eat cereal every day to save them. My theory regarding like how is eating cereal saving them, because it's the space lemmings are a metaphor of our existential dread, or our existential dread. You know what I'm trying to say. We go to space, we're all alone, we start getting sad about it. But the meaning of eating cereal every day is just waking up, living your life, keep it simple, don't think about the complex stuff. Don't sit in your room worrying about why we're alone and why space is infinite, what's out there, why is there no aliens, why are we the only ones? Don't think about that. Wake up every morning and just eat cereal to keep your... So that definitely is how I perceived it, and that's proven with you saying the importance of like eating cereal and stuff and breakfast, and how the space lemmings are a metaphor. So this theory is probably strange to you, but as you can
It's
tell,
amazing though. I'm very touched that
like the overall message is definitely something that I got, and I hope more people get. Like the space lemming, yes, it's a weird concept. There's space lemmings and stuff, but the meaning of eating breakfast and just live your life every day to keep, yourself safe. Don't worry about what's out there. Don't worry about all these things. You only got one life. Live it here. So that's another reason why I really enjoyed this game is when I tried to understand the story, seeing this and like realizing the meaning of just eating breakfast, how I perceived it was really what made it really enjoyable. I don't know if that was like an intended consequence by you, but I hope that kind of helps with like how your game reached me and how it could reach other people.
I'm very, very touched. Yeah, that's amazing. And just like when we went to space, I don't want to reveal too much about the story because
Yeah.
then it would feel like in this existential dread to you maybe if I explain everything. But like that openness, yeah, there's my story, but like to me, like art is fun. Like there's there's the Rosetta Stone.
Oh yeah,
at some
Rosetta
point.
Stone.
Yeah, but like just before, like there would be all these hieroglyph and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel that like I don't want to give the Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, well, no, that's definitely important with these games too. It's like you're building
But to me,
this
it's
universe.
so touching that you've wrote 13 pages about my game. I'm very, very, very touched. Thank you so much. Just that I haven't read it yet, but like I'm very touched that like it generated 13 page at the very least. Like very, very touched.
Well, it's
yeah,
I'm definitely adding more as I'm editing the video. The video right now, this might surprise you. It's about, I think I'm at the 35-minute mark, and I'm not even halfway done. I've still got like 20 more minutes of footage to edit, so it's definitely like I'm breaking this game down. And of course, when I say my lore and stuff, yeah, please don't tell me what the universe is. That's one thing with making the game. It's enjoyable.
I can't wait to hear the lore.
I know it's definitely I've heard something like when you make a game, you don't want to tell them the lore. You want them to explore it on their own. Yeah. So yes, this theory I just told you could be very wrong. It could be very right, but that's one thing.
It's always right, I feel.
But yeah, with these games, since it's so open-minded, any theory could be right. So of course, this story is one I made to understand the in-game universe. Like I said, it might not be an intended consequence by you. You probably never thought of anything while making this game that I just told you of my lore. You probably...
Well, what touches me is that part where you see what you call the fumes. To me, like I feel that I didn't know if a lot of people would do that, like, because in a way, like, those those little things in the game makes it like more complex, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I'm very touched that somebody like that it reached somebody, like, oh, that part somebody liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I worked hard on that part, like, because like the sound have to match with the visual, and
Yeah,
that's
like
kind
there's
of
definitely a lot
complicated.
of a lot of these things popping and then all these popping sounds. So, definitely I know it's the little things too that when these big companies making these big games, they don't focus on these little things. That's definitely a good like that's definitely like when you've got a few people working on these games, there's more chance of like them adding little things. But one thing it's good to see is like I'm sure this, like you've said, it touches you that I've noticed these small things in your game because you probably maybe some of these probably made you spend like what, maybe like 5 minutes working on. Some probably took you maybe
Oh no,
15.
like it's everything is so long, especially
Uh,
if it's the first time you make a game.
mm-hmm.
Like that part, oh my god. Like, that's what's crazy about game making. Like, if I have a musical idea, I just like pap 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 and
Yeah.
play it. But like but like for games, it's like so long. It took me maybe like 3 days, like, because it's my first game, so
Mm-hmm.
like I have to understand that wise thing, and like how to
Yeah.
make the sound of wise, control the image. Like, it's very technical,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm very happy that it feels like it took me 5 minutes, though, because I don't want people to feel that it was hard and long to make.
Mm-hmm.
But like
Well, because I don't want to undermine the production process. I mean, yeah, this is your first game,
yeah.
want to praise that, but it definitely like I'm sure it helps like when people notice the small things.
Yeah, I love it.
So with this game, uh, really enjoyed it, and of course the story, the open mindedness helps. Like I'm sure if someone else played this game, they might disagree with my theory, my lore, and just they might make their own explanation. Which that's a good thing with this. If you make a game where anyone, because like I said, back to what I said earlier, everyone on this planet's different. So if you can make a game to where anyone can perceive it differently, then that's good. No one gets bored, and games like this offer such a wide variety of like conversation. Like back, I've heard, I didn't get to experience this, but I've heard like people when Mario 64 first came out, they'd play it and they'd talk to their friends the next day at school about the different stuff they found and stuff
Hmm.
about that, and just their different experiences. That's one thing that kind of revives this sort of feel. Like, I've got some of my friends to download Lava Lamp,
Yay.
and he's gonna start playing it. So when we play, I feel like this game can like offer so many different like conversations because I'll tell him, oh, I think so and so, but he'll be like, well, I perceived it like this, and just the different opinions of this is really good about this genre. So,
Yeah, and you can't be wrong. I mean, like, it's not like everybody's right.
hmm
So that's what's amazing. Yeah, to me it's like I'm very moved. Thank you
I'm
for
really excited for your next game, too.
yeah, thanks.
So, let's see. So yeah, I basically just wrote down some simple questions, then more in depth questions. Some of these I'm coming up at the top of my head. The
Okay.
paper I have here, I just wrote them down in class because when you replied to me, I was in class, so I took out a piece of paper and just wrote down, okay, what question should I ask?
Wow.
But I've
I
only got
love
like
that.
maybe 8 of them on here, and I've asked you like 20. So definitely like some of this stuff I've saying on top of my head because as we're talking, obviously it's sparking more questions, which is good. That's how you know the interview's going good. But
Yeah.
again, with the game too is just so much stuff about it. You can go all day asking questions, and that's the good thing about this game. And when I asked you some questions like what are the space lemmings, even you yourself said you weren't exactly sure. You didn't know.
Yeah.
That's another good thing.
Well,
Most of the
that
game
that
is.
way that way I can feel like somebody who plays the game too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like just me. I'm enjoying the game I'm making too, so I can feel it the same way that somebody
Mm-hmm.
plays if I'm
And
not 100% sure.
yeah,
So
And one thing too is like if you have this game where you don't know what the space lemmings are, you could always ask like, you know, your fans, what do you think the space lemmings are? And you'd hear so much different stuff. So that's one good thing too, the variety of like everything. It's not just the space lemmings. You've got so much stuff in this game that can be perceived differently. So it definitely, everything in the game just complements itself. So this game is very strong structurally, which is really good. Not only like every time I went to a different room in the game, I'd feel like it made sense. It wasn't like random. Like yeah, it was random, but like not in the universe, you know? It
Mm-hmm.
made sense to me and it didn't like make me think, "Oh, this game's stupid. Like this makes no sense." No.
Yeah.
Not once did I think remotely close to that. Cuz just the story building and the interpretation made everything work together in a great way. So, a few more questions of curiosity though. Um, when making the game, did you ever? Is there like a reason why it's free to play?
I think I was like I was but I don't know, sometimes I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna put it like $5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna switch up. But like there's something like I wanted to be played
Mm-hmm.
seriously. Like if I would have sold like 200, like maybe I would have made like I don't know, $1,000. But I feel that like my idea is that my next game is gonna be not free to play.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm gonna put out like the OST soon on Steam, so people can make donation. It's kind of a way to make a donation if you buy the OST,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But like it was a idea to just like get some people,
Mm-hmm.
like
Like
just get people to play it.
yeah, that definitely
And
helps too. If your first game is free to play and people like it, then you know
yeah,
you can probably charge like maybe $5 or $10 for the next one, and
yeah, and
it's a
I'm
good introduction.
92% positive. I'm pretty happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
It was so like, so the first time I saw the reviews, the first few
Mm-hmm.
reviews, like I cried. Like never had that many reviews
Mm-hmm.
for music.
It's
Like
definitely like because when I made a few TikToks, also a little side hobby. I'll just make some funny stuff with my friends, and I'll see one that gets like 1,000 views and like 50 something likes, and I'll just be like surprised. Like
yeah,
those are big numbers to me. So seeing your
yeah,
game grow, I'm sure is great to see. Like you have ever growing numbers. So at first you probably like, oh my gosh, 50 good reviews, and then you're like at 90, and hopefully after this video you'll have a couple hundred.
yeah. Yeah, but I might put like, I don't know, like are people gonna be pissed off if I put it $5? I don't know. But like at some point I might
Well,
put
yeah,
it like at
if you're
five
good at
dollars.
doing something, why do it for free? You know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like it could really help me like just putting more time, because time is
Yeah.
money and money is
I
time.
mean, in a world this age, you can't live without money. I mean, you can, but if it's hard to,
Yeah,
especially like,
as an artist, I live with a very few money for a long time.
mm-hmm,
And like but like still have the need the minimum,
yeah.
you
I'm
know.
sure people would understand if you put it at a price, and I think you should. You've got a talent. You should get paid for it. I mean, once your game comes out, I definitely buy it. So,
Yay, yeah, thanks.
but
Yeah, but like yeah, so it was the idea. I knew it's like a weird game, weird project.
mm-hmm,
So I felt like I need people to play it. That's what I
yeah,
need the most. Like when you do an art thing, like the thing you need the most, I feel like yeah, I needed approbation,
yeah,
because I'm not that good to putting my stuff out.
mm-hmm,
I'm not that good at that. And like just having people play it like made me so
yeah.
great. And like I feel that people that really connect will I can grow
Mm-hmm.
from that.
Um, when you made this game, and I saw like comments on your Instagram too, like people were like excited for it and waiting for it. So that I'm sure that was great to see. When you made this though, were you ever just like hesitant to release it or scared like if people didn't like it or anything like that?
Yeah, I was terrified. Honestly, I'm very I'm very like because it's so me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's so like no there's no like there's nothing there that like I did for any other reason that like art what I believe to be like my truest self
Mm-hmm.
like and that come also with like I'm not that good at 3D modeling.
Yeah.
The story might be too crazy. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Like people, and there's some bad comments on Steam,
Well, yeah.
but there's so many good ones that like the bad ones, I'm kind of like, oh, it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
What I really love about the comments is that people that didn't like it say the same thing at people that like it.
Mm.
Like it's like, oh, it's like super freaky and like very psychedelic, like, and
Yeah.
people that loves it, like, it's like, oh, it's super freaky and psychedelic, and
Yeah.
that's what I feel that, oh yeah, I did good at least. But I
Mm-hmm.
was terrified, honestly. Sometimes the gaming world is like very toxic,
Yeah.
like and I was afraid like, oh, am I gonna be in those video like the top 10 worst games or
Oh
I
yeah, no,
don't
you were
know.
in top 10 best games from what I watched. So,
Yay.
but cuz I'm sure when you're making a game that's reflects you as a person, it could feel like when someone doesn't like it, it could kind of just hurt you like personally.
It's very personal, like it's such a personal piece of art.
Yeah.
Like it's like me, it's like really what I want to
Mhm.
see, what I like. It's I did like so yeah, I was terrified, but it's a good, in the end it turned out good, so
Yeah.
like, but like yeah, I was more stressed than I should have,
Mhm.
like
Well, I'm sure that
eh,
happens with first projects. Of course, like when I made my first game, it was on Scratch, so I wasn't too worried. It's EDU. It's just to teach kids how to code, so it's a bunch of kids. But I tried making music for a bit. I used some like little sampler because I tried making my own. It's not that good. I'm good at sampling though, but like
that's
I just did it
great.
for fun, and I made some like samples, some little songs, and I put them on YouTube. And I was just scared like people are to think this is stupid. People are not gonna like
Yeah,
this, and that's the thing with your first time doing something. It's obviously not gonna click with a lot of people, but I'm sure just the more you do this, you'll get used. It's not good to get used to the bad comments, but it's definitely something to expect.
honestly I didn't have that many, to be honest. The people, like, as I said, like the people
Hmm.
that don't like it say the same thing as the people
Yeah,
that liked it. So to me, you just don't like that kind of game, and like
yeah,
that's okay to me though. Like that you can't make something that everybody loves, and
yeah.
that's, but like for now I'm the people that liked it, like the comments and stuff
Hmm.
is so like, oh my god, because I feel it's such a personal thing that it's also a weird thing that it's very different from other game, I feel.
Hmm.
So like people that like it like really like it.
That's yeah.
So
Did it ever feel like kind of like a battle to like put out this game? Like, was there any just obstacles like with time and like did things start going bad that made you like change your mind and think maybe I shouldn't do this?
well, I mean, I don't know. Like it's just like in the end, I think it lasted like a year and a half in my hard drive before I released it. Like for no reason, no particular reason, except that I don't know, like if should change something or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, it's like a song. It's like just gotta put it out. Then like you haven't worked on it for a year, so like it's
Yeah.
finished. Like whether you like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't know. Uh, what was the question? Sorry.
Oh, you're good. It's just like, was there ever just anything that happened to make you ditch it? Just make you forget and be like, no, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I should just stick to music. This isn't working.
But it was made, but like I was crazy like making that. I was like, oh my god, I'm just gonna like it's gonna be like
Mm-hmm.
I was just so excited making making it and like just
Okay.
discovering a new kind of art,
Mm-hmm.
and like just feeling that like uh, to me there was an aspect that like it's so easy to do something different in a
Yeah.
way, like so I it came easy to me to make something very
Mm-hmm.
weird and different, but then it's just like I don't know, going to a party and feeling that you're very different from everybody. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, are people gonna like me? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm really myself that day, are people gonna like me anyways? I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, it feels like going to a party where you don't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
like,
can. Yeah, I
yeah,
definitely see that in the game, and seeing your outlook on it, you seem like when you first started, you were excited making the
yeah,
game, which is good. Usually, typically when you have higher morale, higher positivity, the results are always going to be reflecting that, which is good. It's always good to have a good mindset. So that's good to hear that when you made the game, you were like excited and had a
yeah.
positive outlook. That definitely is reflected in the game. So it's always good to have that mentality when making a game, and I'm sure that that mentality sticks when you make music too.
Yeah. Well, making a new like I feel that it renew music for me because
Mm-hmm.
now I really love the aspect of like doing something quicker than a game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what could be longer than making a game, honestly. It's like the longest process ever.
Yeah.
But like yeah, it just like made me also feel that oh, I can learn new things still and I
Mm-hmm.
can make new kind of art, and now like my art form is like making game, I feel.
Yeah. That's definitely that's that's a good message, and I feel like when people make games, they should obviously be excited to learn something new. Because when I got on Unity, I went to try to understand it, and shoo, I did not know what I was doing.
To me it was easier to learn Unreal for many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I started on Unity, but like the C sharp language to me
Yeah.
was harder to understand than the blueprint
Mm.
on the Unreal because it's more visual, and maybe since like you've used that coding
Yeah.
thing, maybe it would be like it's good to try out like other thing, and like it was just easier for me Unreal,
Mm-hmm.
and like it clicked really fast to me. I had some easiness in the process too.
Yeah. I admire your motivation. When I try to like do stuff and like make games and make songs, I honestly I do it for I'll be doing it for like a few hours and just be like, this isn't for me. I lose motivation too quick, which is something I've got to work on. But editing this
I
video
would,
too,
yeah, I feel that like you've put a lot of work in that
mm-hmm.
video.
like I'm
If you
definitely
put
pushing myself. Like, throughout, I had to restart editing one time because I was going through it doing voiceovers and just my talking wasn't like I didn't like it when I was looking back at it. Like, oh, I'm sounding too dull. I don't. This doesn't reflect it on the game. And honestly, I had too much pauses in my voice. I think maybe I was tired or something. So I didn't like it. And usually I'd be like, okay, I give up. But no, I just scrapped everything. I deleted that project, and I was like maybe 15 minutes in footage, which was like maybe 2 hours. But I just restarted, and now I'm working on the video again. I
wow,
restarted it back. I pulled an all nighter Friday night, just editing, and now it's coming out like really good. And so this is definitely helping me push myself, seeing that what happens when I do not give up and I'm seeing good results. It definitely helps. And the message of the game and seeing how you worked on making music and then you spent like almost 3-4 years making this game, it definitely helps motivate me. And now that I'm making this video and reaching out to the actual creator of the game, definitely is helping me gain motivation. So this whole experience is helpful for me, and I'm hoping this is a stepping stone.
yeah, it's gonna be easier over time. Also, like if
Mm-hmm.
it's your first big video,
Yeah.
yeah. But like I'm sure, like you did great. I mean, like I love the interview. Like you're very good. I'm sure many people will answer if you call them,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you come from a place that, hey, I love your game and I want to make a video on it. Like
Yeah.
that's amazing. Like a lot of people will say yes.
Mm-hmm. One fear I had was like when I reached out to you first, I was like, okay, this guy made a game, and for someone, this is mostly like how I saw like most people when people like make a game and stuff, you know, and it blows up and it's really good and it gets popular. Just all these celebrities and stuff, it's hard to get a hold of them. They all have these managers and stuff, so it just put out that image for me that it's hard to get a hold of these people now. So when I message you, I was thinking in the back of my mind, this isn't gonna go anywhere. It's probably nothing. He's not gonna see this. So it definitely just blew my mind for you to respond back. And
Mm.
this one YouTuber a while ago I watched, I had a question. He was doing a playthrough of a game while he was talking. So I had this little question just saying, "Hey, what game are you playing over your video? I'm interested in it." And I just never thought anything of it. And then a year later, he responds saying, "Sorry, I just checked my messages." And just him talking to me like normal just blew my mind. Like, yeah, this
Mm.
guy's a YouTuber. He's not some big movie producer. He's not some big actor. But just me as a kid back then, because it's like maybe 2, 3 years ago, just me as a kid, like this popular guy with like 1,000 or not, like more like 17,000 subscribers and stuff, responded to me. So this definitely just helps with my mindset too. Like I'm sure you're probably just thinking you're a little indie game developer or underground game developer, so it's not that big deal that you respond to someone. But it definitely touches people like me who are inspired by your work, and then get to
Wow.
talk to you. Not really face to face, but talk to you directly. So it's.
Well, it's a mentality also maybe of the underground music scene where I come
Mhm.
from. Like everybody's approachable, and
Mhm.
like art is not only these big thing. It's also like these. It's a practice.
Yeah.
So like it needs the smaller people
Mhm.
too. It's not like because like people that blow up, they come from a scene anyways,
Mhm.
and like YouTubers are scenes
Yeah.
also.
So this is definitely helping with
Uh,
how I see people and stuff, because I know like everyone who's famous now obviously came from like started from somewhere. They started from like the
yeah,
ground up, but this just like helps my outlook. Like seeing that you made music and now you're making this game, now you're working on another game, and it helps saying that like you know anyone can do anything if you put your mind to it. So again, helps with
yeah.
motivation. And just interviewing and getting to talk to the man behind this game, like this little free to play game that I played on Steam. Seeing that now, I'm like talking to the person behind it, understanding the process. It's just it's unreal to me, and I'm very grateful to like have this opportunity. So I'm definitely working hard to make this opportunity worth it.
Wow,
Working hard on the video and everything.
it really touches me that you do that. Like honestly, I'm very touched myself.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just like yeah, uh, it's really it's weird. You put something in the world and you don't know, you
Yeah.
have no idea what it's gonna do. Especially something so like, I still, it's my game, but I feel like wow, I made this. Like it's a weird project. I don't know. I'm a musician. I made a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but like to me, like you playing it and talking to me about it, like it really touches me. Like it's really moving to me as much as like is if a big blog or whatever, a big YouTuber would have played it. Like it touches me in the same way.
Mm-hmm. That definitely helps because I said in the email, I'm not a big YouTuber, whatever. I'm just doing this as a hobby.
I'm not a big studio myself. Like
Mm-hmm. But it definitely just helps seeing the image of like how if you enjoy something enough, you can talk to anyone about it, basically. And saying that even though I'm not a small creator, it gives me motivation to expand because, I reached out thinking I had an image, I want to make this video and I want to talk to the guy about it. Well, I'm making this video, now I'm talking to the guy about it. So it definitely just helps with how I see what I can do.
You draw a straight line and you follow it.
That's
Like
that's got to be my new motto.
you had that idea and
Mm-hmm.
and you just it's just an idea. I'm gonna make a video about lava lamp, and then you do it.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure when you made this game, like most people who make small games, they don't think it's gonna go far, obviously. Which, when I'm making this video and through production process, through my beginning, I was like, I don't think this is gonna go far. When I make a bunch, because I have quite a bit of videos on my YouTube, and every time I made one, I think the most views I have on one is like 50, maybe 100. So it's definitely not big. For this one, I'm definitely gonna try to like market it a lot because I'm proud of it and I want people to see it. But seeing that, that the guy I'm talking to, when I first played your game, I was like, okay, this guy's probably really popular. He made this game. He's a big guy. And seeing that how you started from Underground 2 just helps connect, like relate to me and other small creators like me.
Well, you put your heart in something. So when you put your heart in something, it's gonna connect with another heart. So I'm sure if you put like all the energy you're putting right now, it's gonna go somewhere. Might not be like quantities of views, but like the people that are gonna like it are gonna like it a lot.
I'm definitely also getting people, like some of my friends, to get the game. I mentioned that, like, I'm making this video of a game, and they're like, oh, what game? And I told them Lava Lamp. Within the next day, I see that that friend added the game to their wish list.
Yay!
So it's definitely like the effect is definitely being seen throughout spreading this game to other people. So I'm just hoping that I can take that effect to a greater length on making this video. And I really am anticipating seeing this game go somewhere, as well as your next game. I'm definitely gonna try to hype it up. I'll probably make another video about it. But I definitely will buy it and play it. And heck, I'm gonna offer. I like to help market it too.
Cool.
Like, when word comes out that the game is like almost out, feel free to contact me and I'll put up some stuff about it on my Instagram or TikTok.
That's so nice of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. But seeing that this is kind of coming to an end, don't have as much questions or any more questions. And so just to recap, give a little conclusion. The message of the game is amazing. Meeting the person behind it is amazing. And seeing how this whole genre reflects the people behind it and how this game reflects who you are and seeing it touch people. Just this whole opportunity is something that I'd have great value in. So I just want to again say thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Wow. But you are the one who gives me an opportunity. Like, thank you so much. Like it really touches me. And like 13 pages, that's amazing. The scenario of the game is like 2.
See, because when making a video, I've heard like people like make scripts and stuff. I didn't make a. This is the first time I made a script. Usually when I make a game, I just kind of go along with it. But given that like I really like enjoyed this and cared for it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna plan what I'm gonna talk about because I feel like I have a message and I want it to be conveyed properly. So I did planning and I wrote down a script. So I'm just trying to convey my message properly. And so, yeah, it is 13 pages. It took a while to type. I mean, it's got a good message and it's it was difficult to put in the words. So, there's a lot of me just talking about it and what I think the message is. But it's insane seeing you who made this game. I admire your game. It's insane seeing you like be amazed about the work I put into it.
Yeah, I am sincerely. Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was great talking to you. I really enjoyed this interview.
Me too. Thank you so much.
I do want to say like a lot of like me kind of going all over the place. This is my first interview, so
It was perfect.
Kind of just
It was.
ecstatic about it. I mean, I was excited. So
it was perfect the way it was. It was the way it was meant to be. Imperfection is all good because it's truth. If you put the imperfection in my game are the game, it's the style. But so you put a lot of yourself in it. So like I can't say anything else but like 10 out of 10. It's like it was great talking to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. One thing I want to mention before we go is just if you have like, basically I'd like to keep in touch. If you want help marketing your game or something, or just
sure
if you want to talk, like get together about maybe your next game or songs or stuff. I feel like you're starting out making games and these have potential, and I'm hoping if we work together, my videos can get up and reach more people and your games can reach more people.
That would be great.
I see a chance at cooperation, so if that's okay with you.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Well, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, me too.
I'll definitely keep your email up, like pinned and liked. But with that being said, thank you, and hope you have a great day. We'll definitely
you too.
Talk more in the future.
Great, thank you. I can't wait to see the video.
I'll send it to you directly.
You better.
I will. Don't worry.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day.
You too.